kindly acknowledge all the members present.
We would like to acknowledge all the members present here in Nograles. We have Deputy Speaker Henry Omenal, Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez, Deputy Speaker Johnny Pimentel, Deputy Speaker Aurelio Don Gonzalez, Vice Chairperson Manix Dalipe, Vice Chairperson Federico Haresco, Vice Chairman Kuya Jose Antonio C. Alvarado, Representative Argel Cabatbat, Representative Franz Castro, Senior Deputy Minority Leader Janet Garin, and Representative Julian Jam Baronda.
Thank you, Comsec. Sa ating pong mga kasamahan sa Zoom po, there are 72 members present via Zoom. Kayo po ay na-record na po ang inyong attendance. Maraming salamat po.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Vice Chair.
maaari po bang malaman kung tayo po ay naka-live ngayon sa Facebook page ng House of Representatives, Madam Chair?
Opo, Vice Chair. Tayo po ay live today.
Hello?
Madam Chair, sa kaalaman po ng taong bayan, sana po magamit po nila yung comment section ng Facebook page ng House of Representatives kung nais po nilang magtanong sa araw na ito, Madam Chair.
Inaanyayahan po namin ang lahat na nanonood sa Facebook Live ng Congress. Pwede po kayo mag-comment. Ito po ay aming babasahin during the briefing. Thank you po. Now, I would like to acknowledge Secretary Francisco Duque. I'm giving you 5 minutes po. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair, our very good sponsor, Representative Mickey Vayolago, the Vice Chair Committee on APRO, the House Committee on Appropriations Chair, Representative Eric Yap, our Vice Chair as well, Representative Jonathan Alvarado C., the Deputy Speakers in attendance, and all our honorable distinguished representatives, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat po sa pag-imbita sa Department of Health para talakayin ang DOH 2021 budget ngayong araw na ito. Maya-maya po kung mamarapatin ninyo, Madam Chair, si Yusek Maria Villaverde po, siya po magpipresent ng aming pong proposed budget for 2021. Binubuksan po namin ang aming ahensya sa inyo pong mga tanong at mga hinaing bilang priority po namin na lubusan i-maximize ang resources na pagkakaloob ninyo sa amin para maserbisyuhan at maprotektahan ang higit na nakararaming ating mga kababayan. The COVID-19 pandemic has afflicted many lives, leaving an alarming impact on the Filipino people with vulnerable populations disproportionately affected. Much of this year's resources have been poured into rapidly building up our health system in our race against the pandemic. We have suffered devastating health and economic losses, but we at the Department of Health believe that our recovery as a nation heavily depends on sustaining a resilient health system. In planning for the upcoming year, we are compelled to prioritize our most vulnerable. Our circumstances have made all the more clear the absolute urgency of institutionalizing UHC reforms, as these are the very reforms that will ensure every single Filipino is protected and cared for. Cognizant of our need to carry on with our COVID-19 response efforts, our primary goal for 2021 is to build on universal health care to create a truly responsive health system characterized by primary care, health promotion, integrated care through hospital referral networks, and predictable, precise fees. We need to seize this critical moment to transition into UHC, and so we hope to bring to attention today the key investments we aim to undertake to make enduring changes to our health system. 2021 will usher in a new era under the new normal. We don't expect this shift to be easy, but it is necessary. We remain optimistic that 2021 will not just be a year for recovery, but indeed a year of many gains. There is a long list of things to be done in order to make this happen, and we rely on your support as we tick them off one after the other. Honorable Representatives, panatag po ako sa inyong suporta na mabibigyan ng sapat na pondo ang ating mga priority health services upang amin matugunan ang pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan. At kumpiyansa po ako na sa pagtutulungan natin, UHC will not remain as mere aspiration, but shall be the new normal for every Filipino. Sa punto nito po, muli sa ngalan ng buong Department of Health, ay kami po ay malugod na nagpapasalamat po sa pagkakataon ibinibigay ninyo sa amin. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat po, Secretary Duque. I would like to remind everyone po, we will still follow the procedure po ng briefing na unahin natin ang minority and then majority. And I will give you 3 minutes po in every questions. And then, Secretary Duque, I have a question here from the members of Academe. Number 1 po is the strategic health communication is not only key in addressing a population in the verge of global pandemic, but also to address the overall promotive and preventive aspect of the public. What is the DOH assessment of its performance in terms of health communication during this pandemic, and what are the areas in the proposed budget that will address or improve its health communication programs to make it strategic?
Maraming salamat po, Madam Chairperson. Sa ngayon po, meron po tayong health promo sa ilalim po ng ating health promo bureau at magkano nga ba ang pondo natin for 20 tinatanong ko lang po yung budget ng health promo. Kung pwede lang po si Yusek Mirna Kabutayan na lang po ang aking pasasagutin kung mamarapatin ninyo dahil sa kanya po ang budget nakalaan at bilang tugon po sa inyong katanungan. Yusek Mirna.
Yusek Mirna, you are acknowledged.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, Mr. Secretary. For 2021 po, ang ating budget po ng health promotion, dati po health promotion and communication service, pero under the Universal Healthcare Law po, magiging health promotion bureau po siya. Meron siyang 253,962,000. Malaking porsyento po nito ay nasa MOE 149,000 sa central office, tapos po sa mga regional offices may mga 76 million. Ang ginagawa po natin in terms of the COVID-19, meron tayong linunsad na bida solusyon. Ito po yung overall campaign ng ating COVID that promotes the active role of individuals in the fight against COVID-19 by practicing yung bida. Bawal walang mask, isanitize ang mga kamay, iwas hawak sa mga bagay, dumistansya ng 1 metro, alamin ang totoong impormasyon. Sa kasalukuyang 2020, meron na pong nailaan na 43.6 million sa existing budget ng DOH para sa radio, TV at saka sa print ads. Tapos po, tayo po ay tinutulungan ng ating mga partners para dito. Ang platforms po na ginagamit, print, broadcast, social media, social mobilization, out of home, and on the ground. Tapos marami pa pong mga ibang ginagawa. For 2021 po, gumagawa po tayo ng tinatawag nating health promotion strategy. Ito po ay naaayon sa Universal Healthcare Law na nakafocus po sa mga healthy settings, healthy communities, healthy schools, at saka workplaces po na nakikipagtalastasan po kami sa mga iba't ibang ahensya para ma-improve po yung mga settings na ito. Maraming salamat po.
Dagdagan ko lang po, Madam Chairperson, yung sa strategic communications po na sa ilalim po ng ating Health Promotions Bureau, ay meron po tayong araw-araw na inilalabas na mga COVID case bulletins, ang COVID-19 tracker, ang mga COVID frequently asked questions, at nakikipag-ugnayan po tayo sa mga local government units at mga non-governmental organization para mapalawig po natin yung ating Stratcom patungkol po sa mga impormasyon ng COVID-19 at patuloy din po ang atin ng the conduct of media fora. So ito po ang ginagawa natin para po makaparating sa ating po mga kababayan ang atin ginagawa patungkol po sa minimum health standards or non-pharmaceutical interventions. Yung nabanggit po kanina, wearing of mask, physical distancing, ang ating po frequent hand washing, and sanitizing the hands and frequently held objects. So ilan po ito sa mga bagay-bagay na pinag-iibayo po natin. Salamat po.
Updated na po tayo sa ating mga COVID patient list. Yung mga gumaling, yung namatay, yung asymptomatic.
Ito po ay araw-araw po natin inuulat. Updated po tayo. Galing po ito sa ating po mga disease reporting units mula po sa mga LGUs at mga ospital na kung saan sila po ang tumatanggap ng mga datos ng mga positibong kaso mula po sa mga iba't ibang laboratorio. In fact, ang laboratory po natin ay napalawig na po natin mula 1 reference laboratory to about 117 laboratories which consist of RT-PCR and gene expert machines. Salamat po.
Thank you po. My next question is, according to the reports of the WHO Health Organization, non-communicable diseases, which include diseases such as cancers, cardiovascular, heart disease, diabetes, and chronic respiratory diseases, account for 68% of all deaths in the Philippines. How much of the budget being requested by the DOH will be dedicated to address this NCD prevention and control? Does the DOH also have budget for early detection of these diseases?
Salamat po, ma'am. With your permission, I'd like to call on Yusek Kabutahe to please respond to the query.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Secretary. Para po sa taong 2021, ang binigay po sa atin na budget for prevention and control of non-communicable diseases ay 373,417,000 pesos. Mas mababa po ito sa binigay nung 2020 na 509,000. Napapalo po dito yung mga prevention, mga commodities para sa high blood, yung tinatawag nating hypertension. Meron po tayong pang suporta sa cancer drugs, meron po tayong suporta sa mental health drugs, meron po tayong suporta sa assistive devices po ng ating mga persons with disability, in addition to the other technical assistance at saka mga training na pinuprovide po natin.
Nasakop po ba lahat na ito, ang NCD natin? Parang hindi po nabanggit yung ibang mga sakit.
Hypertension po, diabetes, mellitus, chronic respiratory diseases, kidney diseases, mental health, persons with disability, lahat po yan ang nasa non-communicable diseases po.
Thank you po. Now we can proceed to the first interpellation po. Interpellator.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes, Vice Chair
Bilang
Alvarado.
napag-usapan po natin nung unang briefing po ay bigyan rin po sana natin ng pagkakataon yung ating mga kababayan sa social media na mabasa po yung kanilang comment kung inyo pong mamarapatin, Madam Chair.
Okay po, Vice Chair Alvarado. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, ito po yung mula kay Joel Beltran. Ang sabi po niya, good afternoon. Pwede po bang maitanong kay Secretary Duque at sa PCEO Dante Giran, if how do they plan to implement the primary care benefits and primary care provider network for the UHC? And when will they start implementing it? Thanks. From Dr. Beltran. Ang katanungan po ay para kay Secretary Duque o kaya kay President Dante Giran ng PhilHealth. Kung paano po nila, Madam Chair, maiimplementa o mapapatupad yung primary care benefits at primary care provider network para po sa universal health care, Madam Chair.
Secretary Duque, you are acknowledged.
Yes, maraming salamat po, Madam Chair. Totoo po na ang primary care ay isa po sa mga humahaligi sa pagsulong ng universal healthcare law. At noong nakaraang taon po, atin pong binuo ang Implementing Rules and Regulations or IRR. At doon po ay maliwanag na ang primary care ay napakamahalaga po sa mga reforma na nais po natin isulong sa ilalim ng universal health care. At patungkol po sa ating primary care, ang PhilHealth at ang DOH po ay tinukoy na at patuloy na tinutukoy ang tinatawag po natin mga primary care facilities. At ang alam ko po mula sa PhilHealth ay ilan libo na, kung mga 9,000 primary care facilities na ang kanila pong natukoy at nagkakaroon po ng capacity building. At ito po ang magsusupply ng tinatawag natin konsulta package. Yung konsulta package, ito po yung konsultasyon sulit at tama. At may budget po ito para makapagbigay ng mga pangunahing serbisyong pangkalusugan and basic diagnostics. No? Ito po yung mga gamot, for hypertension, for diabetes, mga maintenance medicines, and mga basic laboratory and diagnostics. No? At siguro ang atin pong SVP Mary Santiago ay pwedeng sumagot din patungkol naman sa ginagawa po ng PhilHealth.
Magandang hapon po, Madam Chair and honorable members of the Congress. Mr. Secretary, regarding po sa konsulta, ang plano po ng PhilHealth for this year is ilalabas po namin ang circular by end of this month, and within the last quarter of this year, makakapag-rehistro na po ang ating mga miyembro base dun sa mga ma-accredit na primary care providers. Ang target po na i-accredit for this year is about 1,200 na primary care providers, and by next year po, i-expand pa natin po ito dun sa kung ano po yung available na primary care providers. Ang tinatarget po natin para makover ang lahat ng mga Pilipino by next year at the ratio of 1 to 20,000 na miyembro of kada primary care is about 5,000 providers po, primary care providers by next year. So this year po, by last quarter, pwede na po mag-rehistro ang ating mga miyembro sa mga accredited na primary care providers.
Ito po ay libre, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sana po nasagot ang katanungan nyo, Dr. Beltran, ng ating magiting na Secretary Duque.
Madam Chair,
Vice Chair Alvarado.
ito naman pong susunod na katanungan ay galing ulit sa isang netizen. Ang pangalan po niya ay Eden. At ang tanong po niya, Madam Chair, ilang rural health units po ba ang meron sa ating bansa? At ilan dito ang mayroong doktor at nurse? Maaari po bang isumite sa committee ito kung meron tayong database, Madam Chair?
DOH.
Meron po tayong database nito, ma'am, at isasubmit po namin sa committee secretariat. Pero ibig ko lang po anyayahin si Yusek David para po sagutin kung ilan nga po ba ang atin mga rural health units sa buong kapuluan.
Yusek David, you are acknowledged.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we will submit the list po, but we have about more than 2,000 po na ating rural health unit. So isasubmit din ho natin yung mga HR na nandito sa mga rural health units natin.
Thank you po, Yusek David. Now, can we proceed now to the interpolator?
Madam Chair, ano na lang po ito? Isa na lang
Okay.
po ang natitira. Mula po kay Gabriel Daco, ang tanong po niya, Madam Chair, tama po bang mayroong 16.5 billion unused funds ang DOH sa taong 2019? At ano daw po ang paggagamitan nito, Madam Chair?
DOH family, sino po pwedeng sumagot nito?
With your permission, ma'am, I'd like to ask Yusek Roger Tong-An to please respond to the query.
Yusek Tong-An, you are acknowledged.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Out of the total unreleased appropriation or CONAP, we have only 957,272,000. So we can submit to you yung mga listing po niya kung anong programs yung. But we have updates already on the release of SARO and request of SARO to the Department of Budget po. Thank you.
Thank you po, Yusek Tong-An. Now, can we proceed now to the first interpellators? May I call Minority Leader Benny Abante? Nasa Zoom po ba si... Next, kung wala po si ating Minority Leader,
Janet Garin.
can we now call Congressman Janet Garin, Senior Deputy Minority.
Janet Garin.
Kasi wala po si Kong Abante, baka pwede na kayo ang mauna. From the minority.
Franz Castro.
Okay, si Kong Fran.
Yeah,
Yes.
Madam Chair. Yeah, thank you very much for the recognition. But with due courtesy to my colleagues with the minority, I agree that we proceed with the listing. And once the minority leader is available, he can pursue his line of questioning.
Madam Chair,
Congressman.
meron po tayong listahang ginagamit, di ba, Madam Chair?
Opo.
Opo. Pwede po bang pakibasa po kung sino po yung pagkatapos po ni Minority Leader Abante?
Ang second minority is Kong
Janet.
Janet Garin.
Opo. At ang pangatlo po ay,
Si Kong Stella Kimbo.
hindi po ba Congressman Argel Kabatbat yung nakasulat? Sa minority? Opo.
Oh.
Madam Chair, kung susunod pong nakasulat ay si Congressman Argel Kabatbat, kung maaari po siya na po ang ating paunahin, Madam Chair.
Okay, Congressman Arjel Kabatbat, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My first question to the DOH. Gusto ko lang po sanang alamin yung status ng investigation sa pagkamatay ni Dr. Roland Cortez ng NCMH.
Again, with the permission of the chair, I'd like to call on Yusek Roger Tong-An to give the status of the investigation being conducted with regard to the very untimely and very tragic death of one of us, Dr. Rolando Cortez.
Thank you, Secretary and Madam Chair. Now, with regards to the latest update, there is now an ongoing investigation filed by the Quezon City Police, and we already provided the updates to the Office of the Legal Office of the Department of Health. So, yun po yung updates as of today sa Department of Health po.
Ano yung details ng update na yun?
The update that the Quezon City Police filed, they just provided us with the list of the names nung na-filean ng case, and we're just waiting for them what will be the next update. But we referred this to our legal office already, and they responded to my letter as well.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kaya ko naman po naitanong, dahil last year po, si Dr. Roland Cortez ay lumapit sa akin, humihingi ng tulong na mai-reassign pabalik sa East Avenue. Bago po siya mamatay, he told me that he received instruction from the secretary na linisin ang National Center for Mental Health, which he did. So, nag-file siya ng mga kaso dyan. Kaya lang po, yung trabaho niyang yun pala ang sa tingin namin na magiging dahilan para patayin siya. So, I think the department, the least that you can do is to monitor this case and make sure na magbayad yung may kasalanan. So, yun lamang po. On to my next question, Madam Chair. As of August 31, 2020, naka-receive po ang DOH ng 2.6 billion under the unprogrammed appropriations for support to foreign assisted projects. Tama po ba to?
Yes, ma'am.
DOH,
USEC Mario Villaverde has the data to answer the query.
Yusek Mario, you are recognized.
Thank you po, Madam Chair, and thank you, Secretary. Sa taon pong ito, nagsimula ang dalawang foreign assisted projects. All these two are related to the COVID emergency response. One project is from the World Bank, and the other project, which has just been signed last week, is the ADB COVID response project. Now, ang nag-uumpisa na po ay ang ating World Bank project. Nauna po sila ng ilang buwan, no? At sa ngayon pong taon na to, ang na-allocate po, no, ay 3.1 billion pesos sa unprogrammed budget po. Ito po ay binubuo ng capital outlay at saka ng MOOE. 1.7 for capital outlay and 1.4 for MOOE. So yun po yung nauna ng project na ini-implement natin. Yung sa ADB naman po, medyo inaayos pa yung mga detalya ng magiging allocation for this year. No? Pero lahat po ito kinuha sa unprogrammed budget. Tama po kayo.
Okay. Madam Chair, iba po ba ito sa additional allotments and cash allocations na nasa 48.9 billion na charge sa pooled savings?
Iba pa po ito kasi ito talaga nanggaling sa unprogrammed budget ng ating gobyerno.
Sige po, siguro last question. Aside from, please submit the details of those projects to this committee, to my office. Last question, ano po ba yung mga items na napondohan under automatic appropriations? Under budget item support for infrastructure projects and social programs. Pwede rin po kayong mag-submit na lang din ng report in the interest of time. Yun lang po, Madam Chair, maraming salamat.
We will do that, Madam Chair, as required. We will submit the report promptly to the committee secretariat. Thank you.
Thank you po. Please provide the list of programs that Congressman Kabatbat is asking for po. Please submit in this committee po.
Will do, Madam Chair.
The next interpellators is Deputy Speaker Henry Ominal. You are acknowledged.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and the distinguished Chairman Vice Chairman of the Appropriations Committee assisting our chair, my distinguished colleagues, and the DOH official family headed by Secretary Doke. I'm raising these concerns in behalf of all the nurses in the national agencies, including the state universities and colleges, government-owned or controlled corporations, and that of the local government units. The Supreme Court, in its en-banc decision, which became final and executory, had affirmed the validity of Section 32 of Republic Act number 9173, which is the Philippine Nursing Act of 2002, which provided a minimum base fee of not lower than salary grade 15 for nursing working in the public health institution. So that in our 2020 budget, under Republic Act number 11465, or the General Appropriations Act for 2020, there was that 3 billion pesos from the miscellaneous personal benefits fund, which was earmarked for this particular decision. So that in the President's budget message for 2020 budget, he made mention for the implementation of that salary adjustment subject to the issuance of the Department of Budget and Management circular. So that the DBM has issued circular number 2020-4 on July 17, 2020. However, while it is true that in that budget circular it had upgraded the salary grade of Nurse 1 from salary grade 11 to grade 15, it has in its Section 8 a modification in the position attributes of the nurse position. And the modification, in a way, downgraded the position of the nurses, because the nurse 2 position, which was enjoying a salary grade 15 prior to the issuance of the circular, was downgraded to nurse 1. And the nurse 3 position, which was enjoying the salary grade 17, was downgraded to nurse 2, and nurse 4, which was enjoying the salary grade 19, was downgraded to nurse 3, and nurse 5 to nurse 4, nurse 6 to nurse 5, and nurse 7 to nurse 6, thereby eradicating the item nurse 7 in the plantilla of position. May I hear from the Secretary what position has been taken by the Department of Health to protect the interests of our government nurses who are the medical frontliners, one of those medical frontliners in the current pandemic, in relation to this budget circular?
Madam Chair, first of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the substantial contribution of our nurses in our response to the pandemic, and I call them the heroes of the day. And however, with regard to the policy on the downgrading of the various nurse positions, and I think Yusek Tong-an might be in the better position to give the details on this in this regard. With your permission, Madam Chair, Yusek Tong-an to answer.
Yusek Tong-an, you're recognized.
Thank you, Sec, and Madam Chair, and to our honorable representatives here. Now, with regards to downgrading of the attributes, the DBM gave us the circular, and ang nagka-problema lang po doon is yung nurse 2, which is salary grade 15, and yung nurse 1 is salary grade 15 din. So, what we suggested, and we have a meeting with the Department of Budget and Management, we suggested that nurse 2 will be SG16. But ang reason ng DBM, they cannot. Why? Because may mga doctors parang ngayon na MO1 na salary grade 16, and lawyers who are salary grade 16 as well. So the second suggestion that we did was that yung nurse 2, automatic po sila na step 8. Para may diferensya po yung sahod ng nurse 1 na salary grade 15. So yung nurse 2 magiging SG15 automatic po na magiging step 8 sila. So, yung nurse 1 will receive 32,053 per month as basic, while yung nurse 2 will be 34,000 plus. So, whether step 1, step 2, o step 3 yung nurse 1 until step 7, automatic po yun na step 8 sila. Ngayon yung step 8 ngayong year, since retroactive siya ang pagbigay ng SG 15, is that mapopromote po sila ng nurse 3. So yun po yung collaboration namin with the Department of Budget and Management. And until now, the DBM did not responded yet. So yun
Yusek,
po.
yung grade 3 natin ng mga nurses, this is the mga head nurse 2 ba ito na aakyat or ano?
Yung grading po niya, yung nurse 1 po is the staff nurse. Yung nurse 2 po are the head nurse or supervisors. So, ganun po. So, yung downgrading, wala pong downgrading na nangyari kasi parehas po yung sahod nung nurse 7, naging nurse 6, pero same pa rin siya, chief nurse, same salary po.
So, ma-increase din ng ating mga head nurse assistant?
Ang pinaglaban kasi ng mga nurses doon sa 9173 na Republic Act is the salary grade entry of nurses, which is SG 15. So wala pong legal basis para increasean yung nurse 3, nurse 4 until nurse 6. So yun po yung sinasabi ng DBM sa amin. There's no legal basis.
So ang ma-increase lang po is grade 1 and grade 2?
Yun po. Nurse 1 is
Nurse 1
SG 15, yung nurse 2 is SG 15 is step 8. So
Opo.
yun po.
Kasi parang I find it, bakit ganun po? Ito lang ang na-increase. Bakit hindi ma-increase ang buong
wala po kasing,
samahan ng
Madam
nurses
Chair,
natin?
wala po kasing legal basis rin ang DBM na mag-increase po nung yung nurse 3 to nurse 6. So, ang ginagawa po ng DOH ngayon is pinapalitan po namin yung mga rules and functions ng nurse 1 until nurse 6 para hindi po magkabunggo yung nurse 1 at nurse 2 ng functions kasi SG 15 po silang dalawa.
Kasi po, tingin ko, kasi lahat naman sila naging frontliners. Di po ba? Di dapat siguro lahat ng nurses natin, whether nurse 1, nurse 2, nurse 3, dapat kasama yan sa tinaasan ng sweldo. Kasi lahat naman yan functional at tumutulong po sa atin bilang frontliners.
Kasi kung i-increase namin yung nurse 6, magiging kapantay niya na yung assistant medical director ng ospital. At saka CESO level na po yun. Yun yung sinasabi ng DBM sa amin. But we will do our best still to negotiate with the Department of Budget and Management for the attributes alone and the increase of salary of nurse 3 to nurse 6.
Madam Chair.
So, yun po.
Deputy Speaker.
Well, the manifestation and the response of Yusik Roger, he said that there is no downgrading. But in effect, there is because there are promotion appointments now extended by the different government hospitals. When forwarded to the DBM, because of this classification, it was not affirmed and it was returned so that the promotions cannot be effected because the salary grade of that item to be promoted, which is the one, like say, for instance, nurse 3 to nurse 4, since the salary of nurse 4 is already equivalent to the salary of nurse 3, then they cannot be promoted to nurse 4 because they are the salary of nurse 4 is now the salary of nurse 3. That is what we mean, downgrading of the position. And another one is that, as you have said, you agreed that nurse 7 item was already deleted. Nurse 7, because the salary of nurse 7 becomes the, nurse 6. No, wala nang nurse 7, nurse 6 na lang. Oh, so that kung ang legal basis ang pag-usapan, then that's why we are here in Congress to support you. In order to fully implement this, we can make a special provisions of this GAA for 2021 in order to provide a legal basis for the full implementation of this decision of the Supreme Court. And to the other issue of it would be a little bit higher to the other professions, then that's a story which we have to deal in a separate capacity. Hindi natin pwedeng gawin na iyon ang dahilan na hindi natin fully promote ang interest which is being desired by this Philippine Nurses Act of 2002. So that kung ang business kailangan, then Madam Chair, the committee would come up with a recommendation and craft a special provisions of GAA 2021, which we will recommend to the leadership in order that this particular matter can be attended to. That is, we need also the recommendation of the DOH. Otherwise, yun nga may mga na-promote sana kasi nag-retire yung Nurse 5, Nurse 4. So, yung Nurse 3 na ma-promote Nurse 4, hindi pa promote. Yeah? So, that is the essence, that is the claimer of our nurses, which, as you said, we all agree, are medical frontliners. So, you submit the recommendation, then this committee will act accordingly. We will make representation to the leadership that that matter can be given a consideration by providing a special provision when this committee make a recommendations to the plenary.
Yes, sir. Madam Chair, this is indeed a welcome development, and we will submit our recommendation that is aligned to the position of Congress, and in particular Deputy Speaker Waminal. Thank you.
Okay po, Secretary Duque.
Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, my next...
So sorry to inform you po, Deputy Waminal, you already consumed your 3 minutes.
Yeah. Could I have one more question, considering that this is
6
not
minutes na po
parochial?
tayo.
Yeah,
Opo.
but this is for a national interest.
Okay, just one question
Yeah,
na lang
one question.
po. Okay po.
This refers to the unprogrammed appropriations of the DOH for 2021. 2020, kaya walang mga infrastructure na naibigay to the different congressional districts, the hospitals, the barangay health stations, because those were all lodged in an unprogrammed funds. Now, ito ngayon sa 2021, unprogrammed naman, 5.1 billion. That's why in the HPIP allocation, all are just equipment. There are no items for infrastructure, for our barangay health stations, for the improvement of the hospitals. There are hospitals which by law we have upgraded into a higher beds capacity. And in order to comply that, we need to have infrastructure. So, I understand, Madam Chair, there is a DBM attending on this meeting. Can we request that the unprogrammed funds for 2021 be part of the General Appropriations Act so that it can address to the purpose where it is allocated? If 5.1 billion is too big, then probably we look forward that there will be a higher collection of the sin tax by 2021. Hopefully, we can recover out of this pandemic so that the funds that is the source of this HPIP, then we can come up with provisions in this GAA rather than place it as unprogrammed, which is, you know, the DOH and Congress would be in the hands of the DBM later on, because we see unprogrammed, nasa DBM yun, whether to certify the availability of funds. So, may I ask the DBM, Madam Chair, who is present, to consider, and I understand that is also the request of the Department of Health.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker Ominal. May we acknowledge the presence of Dr. Mary Ann de la Vega of DBM. Please answer the question of Speaker Ominal. Via Zoom po, nasa via Zoom si Dr. Mary Ann. Director Mary Ann de la Vega.
Hello. Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Director,
Hello, Madam
recognize
Chair.
po. Apo, we can hear you po.
Yes. Madam Chair, we actually recognize the importance of the HFEP, and we have considered also the accomplishments that they have for the past years. So when we did the program amount of 4.7 under the DOH budget, that is precisely in recognition of the accomplishments that they have been, the improvements that they have been delivering for the past year. We know for a fact that for the previous years, we had some problems as far as the implementation of the HFET is concerned. But it actually, we actually recognize that problem, and what we did for 2021 is to give our support to those items under HPEP which are readily implementable, and that's why we prioritize the provision for the equipment as well as other supplies for the different facilities. Now, as far as the amount provided under the program fund, we actually recognize its need. That's why we placed a standby appropriation under the program fund, so much so that when we have some improvements as far as the revenue is concerned, we would be able to give our full support to the infra proportion of the HPEP. The reason why it was in the unprogrammed fund, it's because of the very tight budget level that we are working on as far as the different requirements of the different departments are concerned. But putting it under unprogrammed fund actually reflects our commitment to support it once we have improvements in our revenues.
Madam Chair, considering that I don't have time, probably just a suggestion that instead of placing it on program funds, we place it appropriations for GAA 2021, kahit lagyan natin FLR, for later release, contingent upon the collection of the sin tax, which is the source of this particular funds. So can we hear that response from the DBM, from unprogrammed, to just make it a regular appropriations, in close parentheses, FLR?
Director De La Vega, can we hear from you?
Madam Chair, we actually recognize that very good suggestion of the good congressman. That's the reason why the budget that have been submitted for 2021 is left to the wisdom of the Congress. And if it's your decision to put it in the program level, then it would mean that we would be needing bumping off other items for the different departments in order to give that support to DOH, putting the unprogrammed amount to the program level. Because putting it also in FLR would mean that you would have to put it already in the program level and not in the unprogrammed level of the net.
Well, Madam Chair, with that response of the DBM, I submit it to the Committee on Appropriations when we finally approve and recommend action on the 2021 budget for the Department of Health. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker Ominal. We will take note of that and we will discuss it. Thank you. The next interpolator is Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez.
From the minority.
It should be the minorities.
Sorry, from the minority. Can we recognize Kong Franz Castro?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Siguro follow-up lang muna, Madam Chair, dun sa question po ni DS. Deputy Speaker Waminal. Sa DBM, Madam Chair, kung tama yung pagkakukuha ko na may letter po ang Secretary or DOH, kaugnay doon sa suggestion nila, para po matupad itong decision ng Supreme Court. Remember, Madam Chair, ito po ay magto 20 years na. At grabe na po yung injustice ng ating mga nurse. Double whammy na po kapag pinapatagal pa ng DBM. Pwede bang mag-commit dito, Madam Chair, ang DBM kung kailan talaga sasagutin nila yung sulat ng DOH kaugnay nitong pagpapatupad noong Supreme Court decision, Madam Chair?
Thank you. DOH, may
DBM po, Madam Chair.
Director De La Vega, ano po ang masasabi niyo sa katunungan ni Congressman Franz Castro?
Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair. Meron po kaming ibang bureau na may hawak po nung concern po ni Congresswoman. So, sila po yung makakapagbigay ng karampatang sagot tungkol po sa concern na ito. Si OPCCB po yung specific na bureau na may hawak po ng concern on that Budget Circular 2020-7.
So, nandito po ba, Madam Chair, yung tinutukoy na opisina?
May we know kung meron po na representative? Director De La Vega, parang wala po ata sila dito.
Paumanhin po, Madam Chair, ipaparating po namin yung concern. Hanapin po namin kung sino po ang nandito na OPCCB po. Dahil sila po yung makakapagbigay ng mas tugmang sagot po sa concern.
Thank you po, Director De La Vega.
So,
Next
pwede
question.
po ba, Madam Chair, less than a week, pwedeng masagot na ng DBM yung letter ng DOH para matuldukan na po ito, no? At makita na natin. Iko-complement lang na lang natin ito doon sa special provision ng GAA later.
DBM, Director De La Vega, ano po ang ano nyo? May sasagot ninyo?
Madam Chair, ipaparating po namin yung concern. Sa kasamaang palad po, Madam Chair, wala pong nakadalo from OPCCB. So, ipaparating po namin agad. Ngayon din po, lagi ko po nandun po sila sa kabilang meeting, may kabila din pong hearing. Paparating po namin ngayon agad yung pong concern ni Madam Congresswoman.
Tayo na lang natin, Madam Chair, yung sagot.
Sige po, inaasahan po namin yung kasagutan na maipadala dito sa committee ito. Kung
I continue, Madam Chair. Ito po ay dalawang questions lang naman po tungkol sa JOS at saka yung COS at saka unfilled position. So, mayroon tayong 13,794 na job order and contract of service workers sa DOH. Tama po ba yan, Madam Chair? At sa datos na ito ng Inventory Government Human Resource ng CNC, May 31, 2019. So, may latest na po ba tayong datos mula doon sa latest na binigay po ng Civil Service? Yung number ng JOs and COS, o yung contract of service workers, o nadagdagan pa. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yusek Tong-an, you are recognized.
Sorry, Madam Chair, Congressman Castro. Ang dala ko po kasi yung mga sa briefing natin is the unfilled positions of the plantilla positions. So yun po yung dala-dala ko ngayon. Pero bibigyan ko po kayo ng listing ng job orders at saka COS po sa opisina nyo.
Okay, Madam Chair. So, sa akin pong tala, meron pong 8,553 slots na approve at merong 4,045 na napunan. So, ang tanong ko po, Madam Chair, bakit po nagkakaroon pa ng contract of service and JO samantalang meron po tayong 14,553 unfilled positions?
DOH, sino po ang pwedeng sumagot?
Si Yusek Roger pa rin po, ma'am. Nasa po ng kanyang opisina.
Yusek Tong-an, you are recognized.
Yeah, thank you, Sec, and thank you, Madam Chair, and to our honorable representative here. Now, yung pong unfilled position po natin, halos marami po dito yung mga residency program ng mga doctors natin at saka mga fellowship program ng mga doctors. So, yung po, nabibigyan po natin yun ng kontrata, every year po yun. So, yung mga wala namang takers po ng mga positions ay yung mga physical therapists at saka medical technologists po. At saka yung respiratory therapists. Ito po yung mga walang takers po ng mga position. Kaya kung makikita nyo po, ganun po yung datos ng mga unfilled plantilla positions. Pero yung mga doctors kasi, Madam Chair, is yung residency program kasi every now and then nag-change po yun at saka yung fellowship after their residency program. So yun po.
Can I continue, Madam Chair? Kasi po itong mga PT tsaka medical technologies, ito po yung kailangan natin sa ngayon, di po ba?
Totoo po yun. Ang problema po, napapirate po ng ibang bansa kasi triple or 5 times po yung mga sahod po nila sa ibang bansa. So, lalo na yung mga physical therapists natin, umaalis na po sila sa bansa. Yun po. Thank you.
So, Madam Chair, siguro pwedeng makagawa ang DOH ng suggestion din siguro para mailagay din natin sa ating GAA na pangangailangan na sana ma-upgrade ang mga sweldo nito, no, na mailagay natin. At saka para mapunan din ito mga unfilled position na kailangan. So yung mga nurses po ba, yung mga health workers na iba, marami pa rin po ba yan, bakante?
Sa nurses po, halos wala na po siya. So sa nurses natin, 1,831 pa lang yung unfilled, pero napupunuan po ito kasi ito yung mga nagre-resign at saka nagre-retire po ng mga nurses. But with the emergency hiring that we have, we already hired 8,000 plus po na mga nurses natin.
Po ba, Madam Chair, ng mga nurses?
Yes
Marami
po.
pa.
Marami
So,
pa po.
Madam Chair, pwede bang mag-commit ang DOH na siguro mag-push to commit na mag-push para magkapag-create ng plantilla para dito sa mga kakulangan natin ng mga nurses and other health workers. Dahil napapanahon po ito dahil nga doon sa pandemya at next year nakita natin na magtutuloy pa rin ito. Pwede po ba yun, Madam Chair?
Madam Chair, we fully support the position of Representative Franz Castro. And we will recommend such to the DBM to convert these JOs and COS into plantilla positions for better security of tenure, which I think all of these cohorts of healthcare professionals deserve after their dedicated service. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Last manifestation, Madam Chair. So, Madam Chair, I will also commit to introduce a special provision similar to DepEd and SUCs that will give priority to COS and JO health workers in filling up the vacant or newly created position. So, this SP has led to the regularization of thousands of contractual workers. Another one, Madam Chair, guidelines of the medical allowance of public school teachers na siyempre, nadaan din ito sa PhilHealth. So, yun lang po, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, Congresswoman Castro. Now, ano lang po, reminder to you, Sectong An, yung list of JO and COS po. Please kindly submit
Yes,
sa committee.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Now I can move to Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez. You are recognized.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Mr. Secretary, para mabilis lang naman ho to, no? Mga ilang tanong lang po. Inihingi po natin sa Kongreso ay 127.2 billion. No? And out of the 127 billion that you are asking sa Congress, I think 28.6 billion is allotted for procurement ng mga bagong gamot, medicines, drugs and medicines, and procurement ng ating pong mga dental and medical supplies. Doon po sa COA report, tungkol po doon sa observation nila regarding po sa mga overstock, no, na mga gamot na ating pong na-accumulate from 2016, 2017, 2018, umabot na halos siya ng mga 18.4 billion na mga hindi po na-distribute. But accordingly, doon po sa website niyo, binabasa ko po, kasi tinitingnan ko sa COA, parang hindi ko pa makita yung actual no, sa 2019. Pero doon po sa inyong website, nakita po natin that you were able to distribute yung pong, like for example, yung mag-expire na 296 million na distribute na po yun. Yung mga filariasis kit, mga tuberculin, at yung mga micronutrients na milyon-milyon na mga units na distribute na po natin to, and even the encephalitis ay nagamit na rin po ng ating mga kababayan. But pag titignan ko po yung sa website po ninyo, hindi po nakalagay yung total kung magkano po yung na-distribute na sinasabi ng COA na 18.4 billion ang hindi na-distribute. Can this representation be educated about how much had been already distributed to the different hospitals na government owned at sa mga LGUs?
Thank you, Madam Chair. May I request that USEC Carol Taino of the Procurement Supply Chain Management Office to respond to the question of the good Congressman. USEC Taino, Carol Taino.
Carol, you are recognized.
She's linking up via Zoom,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Yusek Carol.
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Chair, Secretary, and Honorable Congressman. For the drugs and medicines for distribution account, which was reflected in the consolidated annual audit report, for the 2019 beginning balance amounting to 18 billion 498,817,309. Out of that, we have deliveries as of December 31, 2019 of 13 billion 997,182,474.84 pesos.
Okay,
And then,
Madam. Okay na po yun. So, in other words, ay yung pong 18 billion po natin na sinasabi ng COA ay halos 13 billion na po yung ating pong na-i-distribute sa ating pong mga hospital as
Yes
of
po.
2019.
19.
So, when do you plan to distribute yung ating pong natitira? Kasi po, 4 na billion pa po yan at alam nyo, according sa World Health Organization, dapat mga 6 to 9 months lamang yan. Dapat ay di-distribute na rin natin. When do you plan to distribute the remaining 4 billion plus?
Your Honor, actually po ongoing naman po ang distribution ngayon. Nagkaroon lang po tayo ng problema during the COVID kasi nung nawalan po ng
Okay, salamat po.
nawalan po ng transport.
Sige po, at baka
Pero
maubos na po yung aking
ongoing
oras.
na po.
Mr. Secretary, medyo nakikita natin problema dito. Yung po sa distribution natin, according sa WHO natin, di ba, sa WHO, that we have to be compliant do sa good distribution practices, di ba? We have discussed that doon sa PhilHealth hearing. Pero ang problem po natin, yung ating pong mga pharmaceutical company, they are not being regulated pagdating po doon sa pagdidistribute ng kanilang mga, doon sa kanilang pag-store, okay po. Pero ang problem po natin, kapag pag-transfer na sa mga end users, sa mga consumer ng gamot, dapat yung temperature, di ba, dapat po siya well-maintained yung temperature niya. Otherwise, yung efficacy, yung potency, yung effectiveness ng gamot, mawawala na po ng bisa. At yan po yung, according sa inyo rin pong, according sa Administrative Order Number 2013-0027, na sa inyo po nanggaling sa ahensya, na dapat pati yung distribution, dapat maintained yung temperature. Kasi Mr. Chairman, di mo alam baka mamaya, yung ating gamot na nanggaling doon sa pharmaceutical, kung sila regulated, na store nila ng tama yung temperature, pag travel noon, papunta sa consumer, hindi mo alam na wala na palang epekto kasi nga yung extreme weather, temperature, nagbabago kapag dinahatid mo yung mga gamot. And I think, Mr. Chairman, it is mandatory upon our agency that to regulate this kind of distribution. Otherwise, mawawala ng bisa po itong ating paggastos ng 28 billion pesos para sa gamot at itong 18 billion na na-stock, hindi mo alam kung ito po ay epektibo pa. Ang question ko po, Secretary Duque, or kaya doon sa atin sa procurement, is there a way that we can somehow have a random check on the efficacy of those medicines which are being stocked for the longest time? Tapos at the same time, yung temperature ng warehouse is not really, hindi siya nag-stay ng matagal. Kumbaga parang 4 na taon that you have to have a controlled temperature on those warehouses. Na-check po ba natin na we have the kind of temperature that is being needed by that specific medicines?
Madam Chair, ang DOH bago tumanggap ito ng mga deliveries mula po sa mga suppliers ng mga gamot, ay pinapa-inspect pa po natin sa FDA to test at random yung efficacy. Tama po kayo yung inyo pong sinabi, meron po tayong ganun sistema para makasiguro po tayo na hindi po nawawala yung efficacy or bisa ng mga gamot. And tama po kayo na sa distribution practice, kung cold chain ang kailangan, talagang pinag-iibayo po natin yung cold chain requirement. Salamat.
Siguro po tanungin natin yung sa procurement and supply chain management team ninyo kung nagko-comply yung ating mga pharmaceutical companies. Kasi alam ko, kinokontrata nyo ito, tapos from the pharmaceutical company, i-deliver yan ng mga logistic companies na control yung temperature. Or dahil nagtitipid tayo kung ano-ano na lang ng mga sasakyan ang kinukuha natin para ma-travel yung ating mga gamot. For example, kasi ang nangyayari dyan, di ba, sinabi nga ng COA, yung inyo pong mga gamot ay naka-stock sa mga warehouse natin. Paano po ninyo diniliver to doon sa mga LGU, doon sa mga government hospitals? Through what? Can we possibly be knowledgeable on this matter as well, Mr. Chair? Siguro, Madam Chair, kaya ano na lang po siguro, doon sa procurement and supply chain management team nila.
Yes, Madam Chair, Your Honor.
Yes.
Regarding po dun sa temperature po ng ating warehouse dito sa National, meron po kaming pharmacist talaga na every now and then chinecheck po. And in regards po dun sa pharmaceuticals po, I think it's the FDA who check on the private mga warehouses. Ngayon, pag diniliver naman po yan sa baba, meron po kaming third-party logistics na nagdi-deliver dun po. At alam po nila yung dapat na i-maintain na...
Yung third-party, okay, I got it. Yung third-party, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, yung third-party logistic company nyo, are they compliant with the provision ng WHO at saka nung inyong administrative order number 00-23 of Department of Health na sinasabi good distribution practices? Compliant ba sila? Kasi alam mo, may nababalitaan ako dyan that yung mga ginagamit ninyong mga sasakyan, yun nga, lalagyan ng mga yellow, dry ice, pero hindi ito yung sinasabi ng wag tayo magtipid sa pagdidistribute ng ating mga gamot, which we need to have these medicines ma-preserve nila yung kanilang efficacy. Otherwise, kung magtitipid tayo, dadating sa consumer, yung inumin nating gamot, baka wala na epekto, placebo na lang iniinom natin. And this is something that is not audited, Madam Chair. Kasi yung gamot, kapag na-distribute na sa mga ospital, hindi mo na ma-audit kung ito ba'y epektibo pa. So, this pharmaceutical company should be regulated with regards to the distribution of all these medicines. Otherwise, yung binibili nating gamot, pagkamahal-mahal, tapos dinidistribute lang natin, dinadala lang ng mga ambulant vehicles, tapos iba tinatransport sa aeroplano, dadalhin sa Zamboanga, dadalhin sa Mindanao. Hindi mo alam na wala na palang bisa yung gamot na ininom natin. And that's the reason why, Madam Chair, baka nga yung mortality rate natin kaya tumataas sa mga diseases. Because one factor is this as well. And we need to have a more stringent rules regarding sa pagdidistribute po ng mga gamot. Ginagawa po ba natin?
I would like to remind Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez,
Yes,
you
Madam.
already consumed your 3 minutes.
Salamat po. Last na lang po. Pagkasapo sa sagot, pwede po, last na lang po. Please.
Secretary,
Pakisagot naman po yung sa supply chain procurement.
Secretary Carol. Yusek Carol.
Yes, sir. Madam Chair.
Compliant
meron
po
naman
ba kayo?
Pre-monitoring assessment. And then, pag dumating po talaga dito yung drugs or vaccines sa amin, meron po kaming pharmacist na talagang meron siyang device na tinitignan po. Like for example, meron pong dineliver doon na talagang mataas na yung temperature doon sa required temperature. Kaya po yan nire-reject. So, ganun din po pag dineliver namin sa baba ito, meron din pong mga supply officers as well as pharmacists na nag-check din po ng mga dineliver ng aming third-party logistics.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, Madam Chair.
You're right.
Okay, go ahead.
At naubos na po yung oras ni Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez. Pwede ko po bang bigyan siya ng mga 10 seconds po ng oras ko? Madam
sige.
Chair.
Maraming salamat,
Sige
Vice Chairman.
You have 20
Alvarado.
minutes.
Kasi napaka-importante po na itong
You have 10 seconds from
Salamat po. Napaka-importante
Chairman
po kasi nung
Alvarado and 10 seconds from
Maraming po salamat,
Vice
Madam
Chair
Chair.
Manis Dilipe.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Mr. Secretary, medyo hindi po ako kumbinsido sa sagot ng ating pong mga kasamahan sa DOH. I think this time we need to regulate. Yung lahat po ng ating pharmaceutical company, nasabihan po natin sila na kapag dinideliver, hindi pa po pwede na from the pharmaceutical company, yung procurement plan po ninyo, saka yung supply plan po ninyo, dapat diretso na doon sa mga lugar na kung saan hindi nadadaan sa mga warehouse natin. Makakatapid pa tayo. Idiretso na natin sa mga nangangailangang mga ospital, sa mga nangangailangang LGU. Kumbaga, yung pong purchase request, dapat po ay nasa plano talaga. Para na sa ganun, naiiwasan na rin po natin yung pag-i-stock ng maraming mga gamot sa ating pong mga warehouses. This will lessen our burden, Mr. Secretary. And siguro po, huli na lang po ito, Madam. Mr. Sec, ito po ay may kinalaman po doon sa nakarang hearing po natin. I was not able to ask you about this meeting. There's an allegation tungkol po doon sa nagkaroon daw po ng isang meeting sa PhilHealth about doon po sa tinatawag po natin under Section 10 ng Universal Healthcare na sinasabi na magtayo ng mga opisina sa ibang bansa para po yung mga PhilHealth offices, sila na po magte-take care ng mga collection, ng mga OFWs, ng ating mga Pilipino na mga nasa abroad. But there was an allegation that you have rejected this proposal, and we are in the process of trying to have the recommendation, and we wanted to hear it from you directly kung totoo po ba na upon the recommendation about this putting up different offices abroad, parang hindi nyo daw po na-aprubahan.
Would you know anong taon po ito?
Mr. Chair, parang ano po to Madam Chair, mga siguro 2019, February or something, that allegedly you were the one chairing the board. And that's the reason why we wanted to clarify it in here para malaman po natin kung talagang nangyari po yung sitwasyon na yun.
Wala naman ho siguro within Madam Chair.
Okay,
Parang
go
siguro
ahead.
kailangan ko makita yung minutes. Wala po ho akong maalala kasi with all due respect, Madam Chair. Wala po akong maalalang nireject ko yung management recommendation na magtayo po ng mga opisina sa mga iba't ibang mga bansa na kung saan marami po tayong OFWs.
But you think, Mr. Secretary, Madam Chair, is this something that we need to look forward?
Oh,
O
sure.
dapat po ay maglagay na po tayo. Like for example, SSS meron, ang OWA meron. ano ba yun na magkaroon naman tayo ng mga PhilHealth offices sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo na marami tayong mga kapwa Pilipino na talagang matutulungan po natin sa kanilang mga claims at matutulungan tayo dahil yung kanilang pong mga premium ay babayaran na po. Kasi nangyayari po ngayon, doon po sa accredited collectors agent po ninyo, nagbabayad pa po tayo ng percentage sa kanila. At accordingly, yung ating pong mga Pilipino, nagbabayad din doon sa mga ahente ng mga cash transfer. And we wanted to avoid that, Mr. Secretary. And putting up different offices, I think is a good judgment on your side.
We support that, Madam Chair, that expansion of the collection offices to better serve our people in the different countries where we have a lot of OFWs. I think anything that's going to be to the advantage of our people in those countries should be supported. And in fact, ang naalala ko lang ho ngayon, it just entered my mind, baka nung mga unang-unang panahon, siguro in the late or early 2000, na imungkahi na po yan. Pero sinabi ko, let's piggyback na lang the SSS. Kung sila po ay may mga infrastructure, collection infrastructure doon sa mga ibang bansa, pakiusapan nyo na lang muna na isama na rin yung PhilHealth. Kasi para hindi na pupunta ng iba-ibang lugar.
I think I subscribe with that, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair.
That is what I recall. That
to lessen the expenses.
Yes, sir. And to consolidate na the service.
But the most important thing, Madam Chair, Mr. Secretary, is that we have to have a office on different
we support
countries,
that.
which is in Universal Health Law, Section 10. Specifically, sinasabi nila na dapat tayo maglagay. So, in that case, Madam Chair, marami pong salamat,
Madam Chair.
Secretary Duque.
Madam Chair, susugan ko lang po kung maaari yung katanungan po ni Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez.
Vice Chair Alvarado, you are recognized.
Ma'am, maraming salamat, Madam Chair. At sa pagkakaalala ko po, sa talakayan po ng Blue Ribbon Committee patungkol po sa mga anomalya ng PhilHealth, gayon na rin sa Committee ng Public Accounts sa pinangungunahan po by no less than our wonderful chairman, Chairman Mike Defensor Santiago. At kaharap po si Deputy Speaker Einstein Fernandez nung amin pong nirekomenda na yung mga OFW bawasan na o kaya iawas na sa koleksyon yung mga OFW pagdating sa PhilHealth. Pero Madam Chair, sinusuportahan ko rin po yung pagkakaroon ng opisina ng PhilHealth sa iba't ibang bansa, lalong-lalo na sa mga bansa na marami po tayong OFW. Bagamat nais ko lang pong ipaalala kay Deputy Speaker Einstein Fernandez na isa po siya sa nagpanukala na wag na singilan yung mga OFW pagdating po sa PhilHealth. At ito po isang paalala lang dahil panukala po niya at panukala rin po ng mga members ng Blue Ribbon Committee ng House of the People, kasama na po ng public accounts na pinangungunahan nga po ni Chairman Mike Defensor at binubuo ng marami sa ating mga kasama, lalong-lalo na yung mga Power Rangers ay nakapaglabanan po sa issue po na yan, Madam Chair. Iyon lang po, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat, Deputy Speaker Dan Einstein Fernandez.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
Maraming salamat po, Madam
Thank you.
Chair, at Mr. Secretary, maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker
Salamat din
Fernandez. Ano lang po, follow-up lang tungkol doon sa ni Deputy Speaker Fernandez. Wala ho ba tayong freezer ban ang DOH? Freezer ban. Para doon sa mga gamot na kailangan nga po, sinasabi nga niya na kailangan sa malamig na lugar.
Meron po tayong mga climate control na mga warehouses, no? Yung mga hubs. At meron din po tayong mga third-party logistics. Batay po sa kanilang terms of reference bago po sila kinukuha. Malinaw po na meron po silang ganun na service para po sa mga gamot na nangangailangan o sensitibo sa mga temperature change. Kaya kailangan po yung climate control na mga lugar. Meron po sila.
Tsaka sana po sa susunod, isama na rin natin sa ating programs yung ating pong rekomendasyon ng ating Einstein na sana po ay magkaroon ng opisina ang PhilHealth sa ibang bansa kung saan po maraming OFW. Sana po sa susunod, isama na natin to sa ating mga rekomendasyon. Thank you po. The next interpolator is Congresswoman Stella Kimbo.
Hello po, Madam Chair. Can you hear me po?
Opo.
Magandang hapon po. Magandang hapon din po sa DOH family. My questions po
Good
are
afternoon.
for PhilHealth. Siguro po kay Attorney Geran na muna po.
Go ahead, Kong Stella.
Kasama natin si Attorney.
Yes, andito po.
Hello po, Attorney. Congratulations sa appointment ninyo. And since first time niyo pong humarap po sa Congress for a budget hearing, itatanong ko na po muna kung kayo po ba ay Filipino citizen, kayo po ba ay may dual citizenship or dual residency po sa ibang bansa.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, and the rest of the ladies and gentlemen of honorable at that of this
Good afternoon po.
august body. Citizen po ako ng Pilipinas po, ma'am.
Good news po. At saka ang next ko na question po, patungkol na rin po dun sa qualifications ayon sa batas, ay meron dun 4 na areas na kung saan po dapat isa doon ay may field of expertise po kayo. So, alin po dun sa 4 ang meron po kayong pinakamalawak na karanasan? Is it in health economics, public health po, or yung finance or management?
Siguro meron tayo doon, ma'am, sa finance, management. Kaya yung public health, medyo wala tayo doon. Kaya in one of the many interviews that I answered, wala talaga akong alam doon sa public health. Kasi yun man totoo talaga. Pero pwede ko nang po aralin yan. Pwede ko aralin yan. After all, ang pagkalam ko sa public health, itong COVID dito, this is public health. One need not be a doctor to be a public health manager or expert. Katulad nito, ang leader natin ng public health fight natin is a retired general, no? Because public health is basically a promotion of life, well-being of our people, protection of prolonging life, and it is basically involves a concerted effort of our society. And then it's basically a research, no? A research that involves evidence-based research, no, on intervention and protection of health. Talaga, yun ang importante dyan, how government will react together with the support of the community. We cannot do this, nobody can do this pandemia or pandemic alone by themselves. It has to be a concerted effort of everybody. As we are doing it right now. Thank you po.
Tama po yun, Madam Chair. Ang pinaka-importante po sa lahat ay ang willingness po na matuto po sa isang bagong field. Ang questions ko na po na susunod ay para sa actuary kay Madam Nerissa Santiago po.
For the
kasama po natin si
Opo.
Madam Actuary.
Madam Chair, Madam Congresswoman Kimbo, Neri Santiago po from PhilHealth.
Ayan. Good afternoon po. So ang request ninyo sa DBM is 138 billion pero ang approved po ng DBM is 71.3 billion. Tama po?
Tama po, Madam Congresswoman.
And ang budget request ninyo sa Congress, ito po yung sinisingil ninyo sa gobyerno bilang premium contributions o hulog sa PhilHealth ng mga ilang sektor na wala pong kakayahan na magbayad ng premiums nila on their own. Tama po?
Tama po.
So ang kasama po dyan ay yung 4Ps natin at In addition to that, dahil sa special laws, kasama din ang senior citizens, PWDs, and SK officials. Tama po?
Tama po, Madam Chair.
And based on your 138 billion fund request, tama po ba that you were hoping to include dito sa 138 billion ay 41.3 individuals na walang capacity to pay for their own premiums? Tama po ba?
Tama
Kasama
po.
dyan yung indigent members, kasama ang point of service, previously sponsored and financially capable.
Tama po.
So ang tanong ko lang, Madam Chair, hindi kaya sobra yan, yung 41 million na yan? Kasi ayon sa listahanan po ng DSWD, 28.7 million individuals lang po ang considered po na financially incapable. So ang tanong ko po bakit 41 million po ang inyo pong budget request? Hindi po ba nag-overbill po kayo sa gobyerno?
Just to clarify lang po, Madam Chair, on the kung sino po yung kasama. Sorry po. Ang kasama po dun sa aming listahan ay 31 million po for the 138 billion na appropriation na proposed. 31 million po na principal members.
Opo, pero kasama ang dependents, and I only included the 4 categories na walang kakayahan. Ang total po niyan, based on your submission to me, I just added it, is 41 million. So ang tanong ko, ang laki ng difference ng 41 million sa 28.7. So ano pong dahilan po niyan? May paliwanag po ba?
Maaari pong isinama namin dito na makakasama po sa makaka-receive ng benefits or yun po mga hindi pa naka-register sa atin sa PhilHealth na mga miyembro na wala pang bayad na maaaring walang kakayanan na magbayad po. So maaari po silang ma-enroll through POS, the point of service, at maaari po ding through collection strategies like yung pong mga tricycle drivers, mga jeepney drivers na by association po ay maibibigay po sa amin na listahan para po ma-cover natin under indirect kung wala po silang kakayanan na magbayad.
Madam Chair, ang tingin ko pong dahilan kung bakit hindi po na-approve ang budget request po ng PhilHealth is because DB considered po itong listahanan na bilang ng wala pong kakayahan na magbayad ng sariling premium, which is why kulang-kulang po na halos 28 million lang talaga ang inapprove na indigent members ng DBM. At pasalamat po tayo sa DBM at sila po ay nag-alerto po at nakita nila kaagad itong tila overbilling po ng PhilHealth. And Madam Chair, actually, sino ba ang sakop ng direct contributors? Kasama dito ang formally employed sa private and government, kasama din ang self-employed, kasama ang professionals, OFWs at lifetime members. Tama po ba?
Tama po yun, Madam Chair.
And nung 2019, ano po ang bilang ng inyong direct contributors? Yung principal members po, ilan po sila?
Yung principal members po,
Congresswoman Stella Kimbo, I would like also to inform you that you have additional 3 minutes. Binigay po ni Congressman Kit Belmonte. You may now proceed, Vice President Santiago.
okay po. Madam Chair, Madam Congresswoman, noong pong 2019, ang members po natin under direct contributors ay 30.3 million at ang dependents po nila ay nasa 28.4 million.
Okay. So gamitin natin yung 30 million kasi principals lang hinahanap natin. Kasi yung principals lang ang magbabayad ng premium. Tama po?
Tama po yon.
At ang minimum na premium noong 2019, so ulitin ko, ang minimum is 3,300 pesos. Tama po?
Tama po yun.
So kung i-multiply po natin itong 32.4 million principal members by 3,300, dapat ang kokolektahin ninyo na premiums from the direct contributors is 107 billion. Tama po? So minultiply ko lang po, 107 billion. Ang tanong ko po is, magkano po ang actual nyo na collection from 2019?
From 2019 po, 77 billion po ang nakolekta natin from the direct contributors.
So, Madam Chair, I would like to note, no, ang laki po ng under collection po ng PhilHealth noong 2019 from direct contributors. Ang inaasahan natin is 107 billion. Ang nakolekta lang, nakakalungkot po na merong ganyang under collection. Pagdating naman po sa 2021, magkano po ilan po ang inaasahan ninyong individually paying program members na magbayad po as direct contributor? Ilan po sila?
Para po sa
IPP?
Sa IPP po ba?
Opo, for 2021, based on your actuarial projections. Can you confirm na sila ay 14 million?
Yun pong
beneficiaries.
Beneficiaries na po ba? Ang tanong ninyo? For the direct?
Yes, beneficiary.
Ang total beneficiaries.
For IPP, direct.
For IPP po, na beneficiaries for 2021, kasama po ang principal plus dependents, that 14 million po.
Tama. So, pag i-apply po natin yung 1.03 na member-dependent ratio, ang ibig sabihin niya ng principals dyan is 6.96 million. At kapag yan ay singilin natin ng premium for 2021 na 4,200, magkano po? 30 billion pesos, tama. So ang tanong ko lang, Madam, actually, is bakit ang expected collection ninyo is 2.79 billion ninyong kolektahin from the IPP members for 2021. Bakit napakalaki naman po ng inaasahan ninyong failure of collection for 2021 from the IPP members?
Okay. Madam Chair, Madam Congresswoman, ito pong projections namin for 2021 ng individually paying, ito po yung based on dun sa historical collection, ito po yung nakukuha natin from IPP na nagkakaroon nga po ng adverse selection na kung sino lang po yung nangangailangan ng benepisyo, tsaka lang po sila nagbabayad. So, medyo malayo po talaga ang nabibigyan po natin ng serbisyo versus dun sa nagbabayad. Kaya po, kailangan po talagang ng mga systems in place para po ma-improve yung collection efficiency, especially po sa individually paying.
So, dapat yung talagang pagtrabahuan yan considering that 7.5% ang inyong singil po sa kasama dyan yung sweldo ninyo which you need for proper collection. So napakalaki po ng shortfall na 9.5% lang ang i-collect ninyo. And secondly po, bakit po ninyo ikinakarga ang failure to collect, ay bakit nyo pinapasa sa gobyerno? Kasi napansin ko po sa actuarial projections ninyo, ang laki po ng nilagay ninyo dun sa POS as indirect contributor. In other words, inaasahan ninyo na ang gobyerno po ang magbabayad po ng premium na dapat kinokolekta ninyo from the informal sector na meron namang kakayahan magbayad on their own. So yun lang po, bakit tila pag nahihirapan kayo magkolekta on your own, which is mandato nyo naman, bakit nyo po pinapasa sa gobyerno yung burden na yan?
Madam Chair, Madam Congresswoman, actually po, yung pong mga hindi po nakakabayad na informal, kasama po siya sa IPP, yung may mga kakayahan na magbayad. Yung pong sa UHC expansion, ito po yung nasa database namin na wala pong bayad for the past several years. At ang nasa law po kasi na kung hindi sila magfo-fall under direct, they will be covered under indirect. So ito po ay ito po yung estimate namin na nasa database namin na walang bayad. Kaya yun po yung in-expect namin na ilalagay sa indirect as subsidized by the government.
Pero ang tingin ko talaga, Madam, actually, wala pong legal basis yan. Ha? Dapat kasi, under the law, ay considered direct contributor po ang informal sector as long as may kakayahan. So, yung pong kinarga po ninyo na 20 million plus na beneficiaries under POS, sa tingin ko po, kailangan nyo pong reviewin yan. And on to my last question po. This is about the consulta.
Yes, Kong Stella,
program.
you already consumed your 6 minutes.
Sige
Can you
po,
wrap it up?
Sige po, huli na lang po, no? Yung consulta program, ang question ko lang po, ito ba ay insurable risk? Kasi nung tinitignan ko po ang actuarial projections nyo, Madam Actuary, ay wala po siyang naka-apply na probability. In other words, hindi po siya subject to uncertainty. So ang tanong ko dyan, proper ba na yung 68.7 billion na charge po ninyo or you expect to spend for consulta, tama po ba na ang payer po niyan should be PhilHealth, considering that hindi naman po siya insurable dahil hindi siya subject to uncertainty. And ito pa ay na-review ninyo, considering that it's a new program, and every time you introduce a new benefit program or a new benefit package, ay kailangan po meron kang excess funds, di ba? That's number one. And number two, ay meron pong sapat na review process na ginawa. So yun po ang questions ko about consulta.
Madam Chair, salamat po, Madam Congresswoman. Yung pong in-expect natin or the capitation payment that we will be paying for consulta per capita or per beneficiary, ay costed po yan based on dun sa mga ngailangan lang po ng benepisyo ng primary care. So, hindi naman po lahat ay magkakasakit ng, halimbawa, mag-antibiotic or kasama din po dyan yung bayad para sa hypertensive patients at saka diabetic maintenance. So, hindi naman po lahat ay mag-maintenance, pero po, so, as they need lang po yung ating calculation, pero po pagdating sa 700, ang capitation po kasi na na-compute ay sabihin natin 750, hindi naman po talaga kakasya yung 750 kung lahat po ay mag-avail of halimbawa maintenance and hypertensive medicines. Kaya po naka-pull together po yung capitation payment na to at hindi po costed po ito in such a way na yun mga ngailangan lang po ang kailangang gastusin ng mga primary care providers.
In which case po, mali po yung actuarial projections ninyo because you're supposed to put in a probability there. Can you please double check that? Nandun po sa, alalang-alala ko po, wala pong probability, which is why probably ang laki-laki ng ina-expect nyo na cost dyan, which is 68.7. So you need to double check that, Madam Actuary. Thank you po. Thank you po, Madam Chair.
Thank you po. The next one is Kong Eric Martinez. You are recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, the members of the Appropriations Committee, and to all our guests. Magandang hapon po. Dalawa lang po yung katanungan ko at yung una pong katanungan natin ay tungkol sa yung mga bed capacity. Alam ko nabanggit na kanina. Simulan ko lang po noong 2016. Noong 2016 po, na umupo ang ating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Ako ang inyong pong lingkod during that time, the Vice Mayor of the City of Valenzuela, ay isa po sa tumindig para sa Duterte Cayetano tandem noong 2016. At true to that, nung pong kampanya na yon, ang unang pinuntahan ng Pangulo ay ang lungsod ng Valenzuela sa Metro Manila during that 90-day campaign period. Kaya ako po nababanggit ito ay nung panahon pong yon, isa sa nabanggit ng ating Pangulo nung kami nasa Valenzuela ay ang pag-aayos ng ospital ng Valenzuela Medical Center sa Karuatan, kung saan po yung aking distrito. Ang Valenzuela Medical Center po ay ginagamit ng buong Kamanava area. So, nung tayo po'y pinalad na manalo bilang congressman kasama ng ating Pangulo, isa po ako sa 3 tatlo lang na nanalo niyang congressman during the time, ay nag-file kagad tayo ng bill increasing the bed capacity of Valmed from 200 to 500. At sa tulong po ng ating Pangulo, gaya ng kanyang pinangako nun sa mga taga Valenzuela, ay ito na naaprubahan natin at isa na siyang ganap na batas. Pagkatapos po noon, trinabaho natin na magkaroon ng lupa na extension ng ospital. At sa pamamagitan muli, true to his word, ang ating Pangulong Duterte sa pamamagitan ni Senador Bongo bilang kanyang special assistant to the President during that time, yung lupa po sa likuran ng lumang ospital na pag-aari ng DICT ay naiayos na facilitate natin through a use of rock agreement. So meron na po tayong batas increasing the bed capacity. Meron na rin po tayong lupa through a use of rock agreement with DICT. Ito naman po, kaya po tayo nandito ngayon, hihingin po natin ngayon yung pondo para sa pagtatayo ng istruktura para ma-increase natin yung bed capacity. And I know I have to ask this question to DBM, not DOH. Kung may representative po tayo, Madam Chair, ng DBM na nandyan ngayon.
DOH, please answer. DBM. Director Mary Ann de la Vega, you are acknowledged. You are recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair. Ang requirements for bed capacity, specifically for the facilities, infra, is actually under the HFEP program. So what we do is when we receive proposals direct from the proponents, we give it to DOH for their planning and programming, and they usually submit that to us, included in their proposal for a certain specific budget year. So for this year, we have a listing of the infra provision under the unprogrammed fund, and I think we have also provided the Congress of the listing of those different facilities which have been provided for under the unprogrammed fund. I think we have an amount of 5.2 billion for the infra of the HFEP. And for the previous years, there are still some amounts which are unreleased under the HFEP for 2020. And we will welcome any support coming from the Congress as far as the facilities or the putting up of the facilities is concerned. We do have a list, and we will be checking if Valenzuela Hospital is one of those.
Madam, please take note, the Valenzuela Medical Center is a campaign promise of the President in 2016. So I think this is the right timing up to the end of the 6-year term of the President, matapos natin yung expansion ng ospital. So that is the point I'm trying to derive in.
Yes, sir. For 2020, we have fully released the requirement of the Valenzuela Hospital for 2020.
What are the numbers? What are the numbers, ma'am?
Sir, we're checking on the specific amount kung magkano po yung nabigay sa Valenzuela Hospital.
Madam.
Yes. We will give you the figures, sir, for the 2020, which is fully released na po.
Wala po. For in my latest information, wala po. There's no infra fund for 2020 for Valenzuela Medical Center. Please double check. And I'll just leave it at that muna, and please furnish me an update on that, Madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fully noted, sir.
I would like to remind Kong Eric, you already consumed your 3 minutes.
Okay, I just have one more question, and this is directed naman, Madam Chair, sa inyo lang naman po sa Appropriations Committee. We take note of this. I have conferred this with the director of the Hospital of Valenzuela Medical Center. Pinondohan sila ng 43 million for medical equipment. And the latest usapan namin, ito, na-confirm ko kanina lang umaga sa kanya, wala naman silang bibiling equipment. Saan daw nga nila ilalagay dahil siksika na nga yung ospital. Pero ang binawasan sa kanila, yung rent nila for administration office na 2.5 million at saka yung MOO nila. Nabawasan ng 40 million at 2.5. So I just would like, hopefully the appropriations committee, Madam Chair, would look into this na instead sa medical equipment na lang ilagay, na wala namang paggagastusan. At ito, malinaw na sinabi ng director ng hospital, ilipat na lang doon sa talagang kailangan nila, yung babayarang renta at saka yung MOO nila na drastically decrease. And this goes, my appeal goes to the chairman and appropriations and all the vice chair and members of appropriations.
Noted, Congressman Eric. Kay Secretary Duque, may iaabot po ako sa inyo. May nagpapatanong, baka pwede niyong basahin and then para malaman lang din po namin kung anong kasagutan tungkol dito. Galing po ito kay Congresswoman Ann Hofer para sa Zamboanga Sibuyay Medical Center po.
Yes, ma'am. Sikasuhin po natin yan.
Okay, that's about it, Madam Chair. Thank you very much. Thank you to all the members.
Thank you, Kong Eric. The next interpolator is our Senior Deputy Minority Leader, Congressman Janet Garin. You are now recognized.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, distinguished colleagues. Magandang hapon po kay Secretary Duque.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
My first question is the agreement and the MOA between DOH and the Civil Service Commission for the Butika ng Barangay program. What's the rationale for this? And why CSC instead of probably DSWD?
With the permission of the chair, Director Melissa Guerrero is directed to answer the question of via Zoom with your permission. Dr. Melissa Guerrero,
Dr.
Pharmaceutical Division of the DOH.
Dr. Guerrero, you are recognized.
Mukhang hindi yata siya makapasok. Anyway, I was just told by Yusek Vergere that we have a MOA that we are aware of with PMP, AFP. Ito po yung para sa mga butika, butika sa bayani, para sa bayani. Pero sa CSC, it's my first time to have come across this. So let me just verify this, Madam Chair. But when Director Melissa Guerrero is able to link, I'm sure she will be able to answer that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you po, Secretary Duque.
Basically, Madam Chair, ang nakarating po, this is of course a memo from your that was sent to me. I'm just going over this now, but it simply says the Butika para sa Taong Bayan, which was established through a memorandum of agreement made and entered into by the Department of Health and the Civil Service Commission. Ang katanungan nga namin, why Civil Service Commission? I mean, why not the Department of Social Welfare and Development if our intention is to really reach the masses? And on top of that, I am in receipt of a document just now that we are reviving the Butika ng Bayan program. My understanding on this before was that many of the funds, karamihan po ng mga butika namatay dahil nga hindi naman po talaga naasikaso at nasunod na. While we are waiting for the one in charge with that, Mr. Chair, may I proceed to another question? Yung pong nagulat po kasi kami nung biglang nakita sa budget na ang laki pala ng ating mga inutang at patuloy na inuutang para po sa pagsugpo ng COVID. Subalit, hindi ko alam kung sasang-ayon kasi sa akin, Mr. Chair, distinguished colleagues, ang naririnig ko po kasi ang hinaing ng ating mga kasamahan, tila hindi ramdam ng tao. So pwede po ba nating malaman magkano ang nautang, magkano ang inuutang, magkano pa ang babayaran ng taong bayan, hanggang kailan ito, at kung nakasangla po ba ang pondo ng kalusugan?
Madam Chair, with your permission, may I request Yusek Villaverde to reply to the query.
Sige po, Yusek Villaverde, you're recognized. Gire.
Salamat po, Madam Chair. Dalawa po yung ipinasok ng ating gobyerno na loan agreement para sa pagsugpo at pag-prevent ng ating COVID-19. Ito po yung the World Bank loan which has been signed May of this year, and the ADB loan which was signed just last week. So medyo nagsisimula na po yung World Bank loan. Ang total loan po sa World Bank is around 5 million, no? 5 billion and 90 million, no? And this project will run up to 2023, no? 3 taon po. Pero by the bulk of the expenditure will be this year until next year to respond to the COVID pandemic. But most of the investment will be on medical equipment and some infrastructure, as well as supplies, no? Laboratory supplies, as well as PPEs to be used by generally by our health workers. So ang bulk po ng expenditure is this year until next year, no? Now, yung pong mga infrastructure naman ito ay magagamit din even for non-COVID cases kasi nga mga critical care requirement ng ating mga hospital. Now, for the other project, ito po yung ADB, wala pa pong masyadong detalya ito, pero ang total amount po ng loan is 6.3 billion pesos. Ganun din po matatapos sa 2023. And the bulk of the expenditure will generally occur this year until next year. Kasi nga po, COVID response yung main pero hindi po ibig sabihin ay sa COVID lang magagamit yung mga infrastruktura at saka yung mga equipment na i-invest natin dito. Kasi naka-align din po ito at sinigurado namin na naka-align din ito sa pangangailangan ng ating universal healthcare. Medyo na-fast track nga lang po kasi dati unprogram ito, yung mga ibang infrastructure at ibang mga equipment, pero dahil po sa nag-utang tayo sa World Bank at sa ADB, ay nabigyan ng cash backup yung unprogrammed funds na ito.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. May we please request that the committee be furnished a copy of the details of the loan agreement.
COMSEC, take note of that.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Madam, makakaasa po kayo kasi yung sa World Bank, mayroon ng mga details. Yung ADB, inaayos pa po ngayong linggo na to hanggang next week. So, mabibigyan din po namin kayo, Madam.
Ang perfected pa lang dito is the World Bank loan.
Opo.
Yung ADB, hindi pa siya.
Nag-sign na po ng agreement ang DOF with the ADB, Madam Chair, Ma'am Janet, pero yung pong detalya inaayos pa ngayon. Opo.
Yeah.
So, yung mga nitty-gritty ng anong ipoprocure, ano ang i-invest na mga equipment or infrastructure. Although mayroon na rin
Madam
mga
Chair, that we will be getting a copy of the loan including the specifics of, it's a total of 11.5 billion loan, no? At yun ang nakikita ko sa papel na natanggap ko nga ngayon. At mapagtanong rin po natin, kasi baka naman kasi minsan kaakibat kasi sa mga utang, mga bagay na hindi kailangan. So gusto po ng komitiba na makita na ito'y kailangan, at kasama naman din po doon, baka naman po sang katutak na consultants yung ating i-hire, na minsan po napakamahal po ng ganitong gastusin. So we would like to await for
Please
the
provide
document.
us the list of the 11.5 billion loans.
Yes, so the DOH has entered, bale, umutang po tayo ng 11.5 billion sa larangan, sa tawag ng kalusugan, sa World Bank at sa ADB. At yun po, wala nga lang po akong papel, Madam Chair, so I cannot, let me go to my next.
For your information po, Deputy Minority Leader, nasa Zoom na po si Director Guerrero.
Yes, Madam Chair. Let me respond po dun sa Butika ng Bayan query, Madam Chair.
Director Guerrero, you are recognized po. Go ahead.
Yes po. So, just to put a perspective lang po, yung pong Butika ng Bayan for the CSC, I think that was the first version of the Butika ng Bayan na ni-redesign na po ito because we recognized before, nagkaroon nga po ng mga COA findings dahil nga po dun sa mga hindi nagbabalik ng seed capital pag po nagsasara. So we addressed this, we issued a moratorium as early as 2012 in order to address the issues ng COA. And kaya nga po pina-audit at pina-account po sa mga regional health offices kumusta na po yung mga seed capital at pinapaliwanag sa kanila kung bakit po hindi maibabalik yung seed capital. Now, with the redesign of the new Butika ng Bayan, ito po yung revival natin noong 2018. Iba po ang design nito dun sa original Butika ng Bayan na binebenta pa po yung gamot. Kasi yun din po yung COA findings before, bakit po binebenta pa, sa mahihirap naman po talaga kailangan itong mga gamot. So, under the new Butika ng Bayan, ito po ay grant na po para po sa mga mahihirap. So, to augment the essential medicines that are being provided by our DOH programs. Kaya lang nga po ngayon din nag-moratorium kami dahil nga po nagkaroon ng cut ng budgets. And then, ang difference din po nito ay requirement po na may license to operate yung po mga RHUs na gustong magtayo. So we have a shared responsibility with the LGU. So sila po yung nag-hire ng pharmacy assistant or pharmacies para po ma-ensure natin na good po yung quality ng ating mga gamot. So ang DOH po ay nagbibigay ng gamot pero responsibility po ng mga local government units, yung pong pagbutihin po yung mga butika na itatayo nila sa kanilang mga RHUs at kung maaari po ay maglagay po sila ng mga pharmacy assistants or pharmacists.
Director Guerrero?
Yes po.
May figures na kayo kung magkano ang nalugi o nawala sa Butika ng Bayan?
Yes po, nag-report po kami sa COA kung ilan po yung naibalik na seed capital. We can furnish the Congress a copy of this.
Please provide us a copy. Mga magkano po? May anong figure?
I cannot remember po, Madam Chair, so if you can allow us to consolidate the report we previously submitted to COA.
Okay po, please do so. You may continue po.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. May I just request that we be given a copy of the COA findings and the current parameters of the refreshed or renewed butika ng barangay. Kasi sa pananaw ko, bakit nga ba natin binibenta pa yung mga gamot na samantalang kailangan naman talaga siya ipamigay? And why do we have to establish it in other areas, but hindi na lang natin ibigay dun sa rural health centers? At kung i-require naman natin sila na mag-hire pa ng pharmacy assistant, ang dami pong mga maliliit na bayan na wala namang kakayanan na magsweldo. Bakit po ba tila magbibigay tayo ng gamot pero papahirapan pa natin? The rural health centers have municipal health officers. Bakit hindi natin sila bigyan ng kumpiyansa na sila yung gumamit ng gamot para ipamigay sa kanilang mga pasyente? Because if we are going to insist on making a bureaucratic process very difficult na ultimong gamot na kailangang makuha ng ating sambayan ng mga kababayan, lalo-lalo na dun sa mga mahihirap, nahihirapan po silang mag-avail nito. So what happens is that usually kung hindi pa mag-expire na or hindi pa mauubos na or hindi na magagamit, usually it's either expiring or is not being used at makukuha na, doon pa lang nagkakaroon ng distribution. If the Honorable Secretary can look into this, bakit kailangan pa natin ikomplika? Let's just go back to the medicines being given to the RHUs para naman magamit na nila yon at mapamigay. At ibigay na lang sa mga pasyente, especially at this time of pandemic. Madam
We'll
Chair.
do that, Madam Chair.
Okay. You consume already your 3 minutes.
Yeah. So
Madam
last
Chair,
question.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
maaari
Vice.
po, 10 seconds pa lang naman po yun na ibigay ko kay Deputy Speaker Dan Einstein Fernandez. Kung maaari po yung 1 minute ko po maibigay kay Senior Deputy Minority Leader Janet Garin. Madam Chair.
Noted, Vice Chair Alvarado. Sige
Thank
po,
you.
may additional 1 minute kayo.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Secretary, gaano po kaimportante ang mga bakuna para sa senior citizens, lalo na sa pandemyang ito?
Ay naku, napakamahalaga po, Madam Chair, lalo na yung sa mga adult pneumonia at ito po ay karagdagan na proteksyon nila sa panahon ng COVID-19 pandemic. Although it is not a vaccine for COVID-19, pero alam po naman natin na kapag nagkaroon ng mga sakit ang mga matatanda, they're more prone or vulnerable to all sorts of bacterial types of pneumonia, and among them would be the strep pneumonia. So a protection for this is really in order, Madam Chair.
So malinaw po, Madam Chair, distinguished colleagues, napaka-importante ng bakuna kontra sa pneumonia sa mga bata at sa mga matatanda dahil sa panahon nga ng COVID, although hindi ito bakuna laban sa COVID-19, pero ito ay bakuna laban sa mga pneumonia at mga sakit na pwedeng maging komplikado ang COVID pag nagsama-sama ito. Kaya nagtataka po ako, Mr. Chair, distinguished colleagues, kasi sa panahon ng pandemya, tila naging mahal ang pneumonia vaccine. Kung dati-rate, ibinibili natin ang PCV13 ng 770 pesos bawat isang bakuna, isang dose, tila ngayon ang procurement price niya ay nasa 830 pesos. At kung ikukumpara natin yung presyo ng 770 pesos, bumili tayo ng 1.9 million doses ng bakuna kontra pneumonia. Pero ngayon, from 770 pesos, bumili tayo ng 5.9 million. From 1.9 million doses, bumili tayo ng 5.9 million doses, subalit ang presyo na 770 pesos bawat bakuna ay naging 830 pesos. Di po ba pag bumibili tayo ng mas maraming bakuna, mas nagiging mura? And surprisingly, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, it's coming from the same company and the same supplier. Ibig sabihin, we have the economies of scale which is not happening at this point of time. Ano po ba ang komplikasyon nito? Pagka po nagiging mahal ang bili natin ng mga bakunang pinangangailangan, kukonti ang makakabenepisyo. Moreover, Mr. Chair, yung isa namang ginagamit ng ating mga senior citizens, kung dati-rate, 342 pesos ang bili natin bawat dose, ang naging presyo ngayon is 524 pesos. A difference of, sorry Mr. Chair, medyo mahina-hina ako sa math, pero klarong-klaro po dito, uulitin po natin, sa panahon ng pandemya dapat mas mura ang bili natin, lalo na't pagka mas marami ang binibili natin. Dahil kailangan nating i-spread yung pera ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Subalit, ipinapakita dito sa dokumento na ngayon nga ibinigay sa akin dahil gusto itong iparating ng ating mga kasamaan sa Kongreso na kung nung taong ang dating bili ay 342 pesos, ngayon ang bili ng bawat bakuna sa pneumonia para sa mga senior are 524 pesos. Doon naman sa ating pneumonia vaccine for children, kung dati ang bili is 770 pesos at 1.9 million lang doses ang binili, ngayon naman dumami ang binili, 5.9 million doses. Instead na naging mura, mas naging mahal ito at 830 pesos. Honorable Secretary, your comment on this please, and the possible directions that the department can pursue. Maraming salamat po, and
Secretary Duque, please
Yes, thank you,
respond.
Madam Chair. I just request, with your permission, for Secretary Yusek Mirna Kabutahe to please respond to the query.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, Madam Chair. Totoo po yung sinabi ni Congresswoman Garin na tumaas yung presyo ng PCV. We're talking the pneumonia vaccine for the 9 to 59 months ng 868 sa aking datos. Tumaas siya from 700 to 800. We did the bidding, pero naka-single dose kasi ito. Ang ginagawa natin ngayon, and there was only one company, if I remember right, that was able to fulfill the criteria for PCB13. Kaya po rin-review natin ngayon yung ibang pneumonia vaccine, pina-review po ng ating secretary through the health technology assessment, na imbis na sabihin po na PCB13, inaral po nila na yung mga serotypes na 1, 4, 5, 6B, etc., which are both in another vaccine, yun na lang po ang ilagay natin. Tapos gagawin na pong multidose vial, kaya po bababa na yung presyo niya. Doon po naman sa flu vaccine, ang kuha po natin ng flu vaccine for 2020 ay 184 pesos per dose. Yung pneumonia vaccine for senior citizen, 524. Wala pong WHO pre-qualified na vaccine. These are locally available. Tinaasan po ang presyo because of the shortage. Bumibili ho tayo ng 750,000 doses, pero ang maibibigay lang ng company was 450 because there is a shortage worldwide. So they increased the price because of the shortage, global shortage.
Madam Chair, if I may be allowed to just quickly interject, no, that was supposed to be my last question.
I recognize Kong Janet.
With due courtesy to the DOH family. Una-una po, ang global shortage kasi, minsan ginagawang rason yan palagi at palagi siyang nagiging reason para taasan yung presyo. But vaccines are not sold that way. It's highly regulated. At alam naman po natin na kapag bakuna ang pinag-uusapan, iisa lang po ang presyo ng buong mundo, depende kung ano yung antas ng ating bansa. That's why if you put an ABC, kung ilalagay mo yung ceiling price na 524 pesos, syempre yung bidder, kasi alam naman natin isa lang ang supplier ng PPV23, prepresyohan niya ng sagad. We are giving them the opportunity to jack up the price because we are putting an ABC that is so high. So kung babalikan po natin ang PPV23, which is a pneumonia vaccine for senior citizens, isa lang po ang supplier. Tama po kayo doon. But the government is the biggest procurement entity. Kaya mas kaya natin makipag-negotiate sa kanila kesa na tayo ang nagpapatali. We cannot just accept their reason that there is global shortage because you have FDA that control their permits and government can actually regulate prices. Bottom line is, kung binili natin ng 342 pesos taon-taon at biglang sasabihin natin, ay, sabi ng supplier, walang stock, kaya tataasan nila ng 524. Madam Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I was part of the DOH family before, and every year, I encounter those comments. Sasabihin walang stock, sasabihin hindi sila makakasupply. What we do is we just bid it out with that price. And mind you, they will bid commensurate to the dictated ABC of the Department of Health. Moving forward, Madam Chair, distinguished colleagues, yung kanina sa PCV 13, with due courtesy to our DOH officials, ang sabi nyo, bababa siya kasi magiging PCV 10.
Madam Chair, can I
Yes
answer?
po.
Hindi po. We are, baka bumaba yan because we are not, hindi po between PCB 10 and PCB 13. We are just saying that it will be a competitive bidding. Imbis po na diretsong yung specification ay pointing to PCB 13, we put serotypes that are present in both. Bahala na kung sino yung mananalo because it will now be a multi-dose vial. So we put so our formulary, ma'am, will now have the serotypes minimum 1, 4, 5, 6B, 7F, 9B, 14, 18C, 19A, 19F, and 23F, which are both in PCB 10 and PCB 13. So bahala na ho sila kung sa bidding, kung paano ang bid price, it will be through public bidding po. And it will now be a multi-dose.
Just to align, Yusek Mirna, let us laymanize what you are saying. Ang sinasabi niyo po, ito ang PCV 10, ito ang PCV 13. Dalawa sila na pwedeng bilhin ng gobyerno. Pero magkaiba ang dalawa. Pag sinabi nating PCV 10, it covers 10 serotypes. If we say PCV 13, it covers 13 serotypes. So you cannot compare apples and oranges. Dapat po kasi pareho sila. What I'm pointing here is the fact that we have been procuring in 2016, in 2015, we have been procuring 770 pesos as the unit cost of PCV 13. Pero, binili natin siya na ngayon ng 830 pesos last year. Same PCV 13, same vaccine. Ito 5.9 million doses, ito 1.9 million doses. Hindi po ba pag dumami ang binibili mo, you have economies of scale, dapat mas mura ito. Pero bakit na from 1.9 million doses, ginawang 5.9 million doses, from 770 pesos, naging 830 pesos. The same supplier, the same company, and mind you, we only have one supplier for PCV 13 because in many vaccines, isa lang po talaga ang manufacturer. They don't compete with each other because research is very expensive. That is why the Department of Health is very important in putting a cap on how much is the ABC. Kasi pag linagay natin yung ABC dyan na 830, isa lang yung supplier, pero presyo nila ng 830. Pag pero nilagay mo dyan 770, ano ang basis? Last year yan ang bili 2014, 15, 16, 770 ang bili. Bakit biglang magiging mahal? The price difference is 60 pesos. 60 pesos times 5.9 million, o ilagay mo ng 4 million, that's 240 million pesos. Yun yung, thank you Mr. our distinguished colleague, iba na talaga ang pogi, no? Magaling pa sa math, no? So ang punto ko dito, we cannot always say that the reason is, yan ang kanilang bid price. Because if you remember, when we were working together, we were always very particular sa ABC. Pag sinabi natin, ito yung, ang PCV 10 at PCV 13, parang kape yan. 3-in-1 yung isa plain coffee. You cannot compare the prices of two. Because PCV 10 is simpleng kape, PCB 13 is 3-in-1. Hindi mo pwedeng i-compare yun. So that cannot be a reason na by next year, by this year, magiging mura na to kasi instead of PCB 13, pag nagpabid ka at sabihin mong kape, mas mahal ang 3-in-1 kesa sa coffee stick. But my question here is, 3-in-1 plus 3-in-1, the same brand, the same supplier, the same manufacturer, from 1.9 million doses, we bought it at 5.9 million doses. Why did it become more expensive by 60 pesos? Ang sa akin lang po dito, Mr. Chair, I do agree that in a pandemic, napakarami po ng trabaho at baka na-overlook ito. But every peso, every dollar, every centavo that is used on overpriced medicines, vaccines, and commodities is actually medicines and vaccines commodities taken away from many Filipinos who are in need of these vaccines. Dahil hindi naman po natin nabibigyan lahat, pinipili lang natin kung mas marami yung nabibili, mas magbebenepisyo po ang taong bayan. Maraming salamat, Madam Chair.
Thank you po. Thank you po, Congresswoman Janet. Follow-up lang nga po, Yusek Mirna. Sino po ang manufacturer ng gamot na binabanggit ni Kong Janet at sino ang supplier natin? Opo, sa PC-10, PC-13.
Ang PCB-13 is Pfizer. Hindi ko masyadong alam yung mga supplier, but we know it's PCB-13. Pfizer yata. I don't have the...
So, ang PCB-13 is Pfizer?
Yeah. Madam Chair, if I may, no, just to, okay. Ang PCV po kasi is pneumonia, pneumococcal conjugate vaccine. Ito po yung bakuna, and dahil nag-evolve yan, nag-start tayo, I think we started with PCV7. Yung number po, yan yung serotypes na nako-cover. Kasi maraming klase eh. Parang yung isang virus, marami siyang serotype. So, yung number is the number of serotypes covered. So, nag-start tayo ng PCV. Nakalimutan ko, I think PCV7. There's a manufacturer for that. Then, nag-evolve to PCV10. That's supplied by GSK. Then, nag-evolve to PCV13. That's Pfizer. Siyempre, kung may nangunguna na dito, nawawala na yung market ng mga ito. Kaya nga, pag bumibili ka na dito ng PCV13, which covers more, siyempre, babalik ka dito. Then, I think there's already development of PCV25. Ganun po. Pero ito hindi pa commercially available, but will be commercially available soon. But my point is, same vaccine, same company, bigger volume, smaller volume, lower price, bigger price. Kasi, whatever it is, ang supplier yan. Pag sinabi mo, ito yung alcohol, ang ABC namin dito is 100 pesos, they will bid at 99.5, lalo na siya isa lang. So, but if you put the ABC at 80 pesos, kasi ang presyo niya talaga is 80 pesos, they will bid at 80 pesos.
Kaya nga po yun ang tanong ko kung sino ang manufacturer. Kasi baka iisa lang naman ang manufacturer ng gamot na ito, kaya kaya niya i-monopolize yung presyo. Kasi wala naman siyang kaagaw sa bidding. Diba? Wala ang pwedeng mas bumaba sa 830
That's why, Madam Chair, importante yung ABC because the government is the biggest customer of all companies. So mas hawak mo sila kasi you can always tell them you're not going to give, magbibid din sila at magbibid. No, and in terms of shortage, it only happens if we are not forecasting. Because you always order ahead. Parang alam mo nang kasi na ang bakuna, they produce it before you can get it. So, a year prior or 2 years prior, you already do forecasting and you do orders. So basically, Madam Chair, I actually was not planning to ask this. It's just that this was a concern put forward by other members and was given to me. Kaya ipinarating ko na lang SEC, no? Kasi I'm getting information from many colleagues na nangihinayang sila na hindi po ba sayang na mas marami because if you are talking about 240 million pesos, mas marami ang maho-cover. If an excess, let's say in PPV 23, from 342 and 524 pesos, that's an that's an excess of around 180 pesos per dose. So with 1 million doses, that's 180 million. Eh, ilan na ang pwedeng mabigyan ng bakuna? Dahil if you remember, the other congressmen in your earlier discussions with them were clamoring for vaccines for their senior citizens and their children. So yan lang po, Madam Chair, and I believe that the DOH will have the leadership to look into this so that when we put in ABC, it will really be the ABC that is commensurate to the actual price.
Thank you, Kong Janet. Now, can
Madam
we
Chair,
hear-
Madam Chair.
Yes,
I
Secretary
just
Duque.
think Yusek Mirna would like to have a rejoinder, and then after which I reassure the chair and the committee that we will look into this and report as to how the seeming overpricing has come about, and we will have this looked into very carefully and expeditiously, and give you, again, with my reassurance that we will give you a full report.
Thank you, Secretary Duque. Now,
Yes,
you may
Mr.
proceed, Yusek Miriam.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair. Yung proseso po ng pag-determine ng ABC, ang unang kino-consider yung previous price. Pagkatapos po, pinapadaan po sa market study kung ano yung available. So, pagbigay sa procurement service at yun ang presyo at walang kakagat doon sa presyo, and then we are forced to increase the price. Ganun po ang nangyayari. I think what they have considered during that time, globally, nag-increase ng price sa market ng mga vaccine, and they might have looked at the dollar fluctuation. So, but we will, as the Secretary said, we will have to look at the process of how the ABC is being determined, because it's not only the program that looks into it, nagma-market study, the procurement service looks into it, it's even also reviewed by the pharmaceutical division to look at ano yung price that is prevailing in the market.
Yeah, Madam
thank you
Chair,
po.
if I may be allowed, as a rejoinder, Yusek Mirna, Sec Pinkoy, if the reason, because this was the reason of your predecessor, nung question ko rin ito na sinabi ko sa kanya, bakit ba nagiging mahal yung mga ABC nyo? Ang palagi niyang sinasagot, dollar conversion. But that is not true. Because if that is true, it should have applied to all other vaccines and medicines. Also, in the country, in the Philippines, dollar fluctuation is not our problem. That's the problem of the companies. They adjust it kasi if their currency in their main company is dollars, when they go to various countries, umiiba rin naman ang kanilang cost. So dollar fluctuation is never a problem of the procuring entity. It's always a problem of the company, and they have a manner of doing that. Kaya nga po, wala tayong adjustment ng currency fluctuation in our procurement methods because we price it. Our ABC is not dollars. Our ABC is pesos. We should not be absorbing the problems of foreign companies.
Kong Janet, you already consumed 12 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Madam. As I've said, we will look into this, look at the process, and look at the reasons for the apparent disparity in the pricing structure of the two vaccines. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you po, Secretary Duque. Now, may we call on Congressman Mike Defensor.
Maraming
You
salamat.
are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat po. Una po, pagbati sa ating DOH family led by Secretary Duque. And of course, ang ating pong bagong presidente ng PhilHealth, Attorney Dante Gran. Magandang hapon po sa inyo. Ang una kong tanong ho, para lang kalinsunod dun sa mga tinatanong ni Congresswoman Janet Garin. Doon pong last year, kasi ho yung COA natin, or the report ngayon, the budget, is based on the COA of 2018. Hindi po natin ito nakabase sa 2019 because, well, technically, wala hong COA na naisagawa dahil na nga po dito sa ating sitwasyon. Ang una kong tanong, doon po sa expired, I would like to direct my question, Madam Chair, to Yusek Tong-an of the Administration and Management. Meron po kayong mga gamot na expired 30 million of last year. Tama po ba? Is part of that COA
Yusek
report of
Tong-an,
this
you
year.
are recognized.
I think with Yusek Taino can answer that. Thank you.
Actually, it is Yusek Taino, who is the head of the Procurement and Supply Chain Office, who has the data on this. Can we just invite her in, please?
Ilan po sa expired, Madam Chair? 30
Yusek
million.
Tyron
Yes.
Taino,
Madam Chair, yes.
you are recognized po.
Audit findings with regards to the 30 million expired drugs, yun po yung sa nakita in the field po. Hindi po yun dito sa central office. And we have, I think, there was a audit report from our internal audit service regarding that finding, sir.
Tama po, Yusek, tama po. Hindi ko po sinabi sa central office. Kaya ko po binanggit kay Yusek Tongan itong tanong. I would think, no, ngayon dahil bumalik tayo kay Yusek Tanyo, hindi niyo po kinausuhan kung sino yung nagka-problema sa field. Wala pong kaso yun. Can you kindly reply, Madam Chairperson? Oh, it would be with administration who should be filing, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
DOH,
yeah.
Yusek Tong-an.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Wala po, hindi po na. But we have a team. That's why all this procurement is with another undersecretary. Thank you.
Madam Chair, kasi po to, 300 million to na mag-expire na gamot. Ang talagang found to have expired is 30 million. And that is only the 2018 report. Hindi pa po natin nakita yung 2019. So, I would hold Yusek Tong-an responsible for this. Kasi pagka, alam nyo, in normal times, pwede ho nating pagbigyan to eh. Pero sa ganito pong sitwasyon na nagkakaproblema ho tayo sa ating bansa, may mga pangangailangan, tapos yung nag-expire, pinapabayaan na lang po natin, when in fact that is part of our responsibility, yun po yung ayaw natin payagan. Now, Madam Chair, my next question is based on the HFEP. Alam niyo po, Secretary Duque, siguro ho, panlima na to na discussion ko on HFEP, even during the budget deliberations. Paulit-ulit po yung pinopoint out namin on HFEP. And I think Yusek David would be the one to answer this. Ngayon, Yusek David, no, I'll just put an example. Ito po, hawak ko po dito yung 2018 budget. Yung 2018 budget to, pag tiningnan nyo, dinistribute ninyo ang pondo sa iba't ibang mga munisipyo, barangay, 102 million, 1.6 million, saan po itong lugar na to? Municipality of Barile, Borbon, sa Nueva Ecija, sa BHS nila, naglagay po kayo ng 1.2 million, 1.2 million. So parang hinati-hati niyo po. I'm not even sure if it's 1.2 million or 700,000. But, dahil po nandito ang aking pong kaibigan, yung ating pong pinakasentro ng turismo, ang Boracay, no? Congressman Ted Daresco. Ang bibigay ko po sa inyo muna ng budget nyo last year. Binigyan nyo po ang Region 6 ng iba't ibang pondo. Ang inilagay nyo po sa Antique ay sa Municipality of Sebaste, 1.5 million. Okay. This year po, ang nilagay nyo po sa Region 6, Municipality of Antique, Barangay Health Stations, 3. Sa Bugasong, Hamtik at Tiblao, tigto 250,000. Madam Chair, yung Universal Healthcare po, pinalakas ng ating Presidente ang pondo para sa insurance system. Pero pinalakas din po natin sana yung mga ospital. Ang sabi ng Department of Health, papalakasin namin ang primary care facilities. Balik ko dun sa tanong, ano pong magagawa nitong 1.5 million na inilagay ninyo doon po sa Municipality of Sebaste? 1.5 million.
Yusek David.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Com Defensor, the average cost po of barangay health station is 1.7. So, depending ho on the degree of completion ng BHS or yung equipping, yun po yung pinopropose na mga local government units and regions for funding.
Okay, pagdating po nitong this year, 250,000 po sa barangay health stations.
Paano kaya mabibili ng 200?
Tatlo po yun. Inuulit ko, Pitak, Pilape, Pangagakan. Madam Chair, habang sinicheck po ni Yusek David, tama po kayo. Ang nakalagay po sa guidelines ng DOH sa classification of primary care facility, a first contact healthcare facility that offers basic services including emergency service and provision for normal deliveries. It is subdivided into within patients, short stay facility, where average of 1 to 3 days length of time is spent by patients before discharge. Examples, but are not limited to the following: infirmary, boarding home, without beds. Ang ibig pong sabihin, Madam Chair, yung pong ating nursing station dito sa Congress is part of the primary care facility na supposedly dine-develop ng DOH. So babalik po ako. What I mentioned about the district of Congressman Haresco is representative of what is happening in the entire budget. From 2014 to 2016, ang budget na po ng HFEP is about 55 billion pesos. To date, siguro po magte-2020 na tayo, siguro may mga 100 billion na yan. Pero may nakita po ba tayong changes in what is happening in the healthcare sector? Kasi di ba dapat to sana, and I will go to my understanding, 80% of CT scans, 90% of MRIs privately owned. Pagdating po sa level 1 hospital, across the country, 495 ang level 1 private. Ang government,
Secretary
300. Yes.
For a while lang. I would like to excuse po si Secretary Francisco Duque. May meeting po kasi siya ngayon kay President. Thank you po, Secretary Duque.
Yes, ma'am, iwanan ko na lang po yung mga akin mga USEC. And then, rest assured of our commitment to give you the reports and data that have been asked by our representatives. So, maraming salamat po. I don't want to leave, but I'm being asked to attend the cabinet meeting.
Thank you po. Thank
Salamat
you for
po.
coming.
Thank you, everyone.
You know, may proceed, Kong Defensor.
Chair, to date, hindi po mapaliwanag sa akin yung overall program by Director, I'm sorry, Yusek, who's the one in charge? Corgolon. Ilang beses na po kami nag-meeting even prior to these budget deliberations. At parati ko pong sinasabi itong mga observation ko. Kahit na po saan tayo pumuntang lugar, in any, even in NCR, papakita ko po sa inyo yung NCR budget niyo for last year. 3 barangay po dito sa NCR, binigyan nyo ng 250,000 pesos. Tinanong ko po si Director Gorgolon, ano po itong mga to? 2,150,000. Ang sinabi niya po sa akin, stethoscope. So, Madam Chair, sa isang sitwasyon na walang COVID, papayagan natin ito eh. Siguro there will be tolerance. But nakita natin ng COVID, pag nagkasakit even mild, walang enough hospitals, particularly the public hospitals, to accommodate them. And Mr. Chair, every year we will be spending 20 billion pesos for the Health Facilities Enhancement Program. Halos ang laki po nitong pondong to. Papayagan na lang po ba natin taon-taon na wala lang, di na lang po natin papansinin. Ito po ang 2017. Ito po ang, 2020 budget. Ito po for 2021. Pupunta po ako sa district ni... district nyo, ma'am. Nueva Ecija. Bungabon. Kalaanan, 100,000. Bungabon, Vega, BHS, 100,000. Ang Santa Monica, ma'am, sa inyo? San Jose.
Oh, San Jose, 100,000. Masigon, 100,000. Imblao, 100,000. San Pedro, 100,000. Now, these are all,
San Jose lang po ang ano ko dyan.
I'm not sure, Madam Chair, but 100,000 for the different municipalities in Nueva Ecija. I will go now to, well, nakita na nga kanina namin ni Kong Haresco yung kanyang distrito. Nagulat siya. Sabi ko, Kong Haresco, meron bang ospital sa distrito mo? Wala. Kahit level 1, wala. Pag may nagkasakit sa Boracay, meron ka bang maliit na district hospital in that area for first aid? Wala. So what is the Health Facilities Enhancement Program for?
Siguro nga po dapat natin tunang pansin yung mga tourist area natin na magkaroon sila ng sariling maliit na ospital na pwedeng takbuhan.
Madam Chair, alam niyo ang thesis ko? Yung pondo na to, binabato na lang sa mga kung saan-saan. And they want the situation to continue because at this point, even in PhilHealth, almost 100% of private hospitals, 100% accredited. Sa public hospitals po, hindi. Ang ratio ng public hospitals sa PhilHealth is 60-40. Ang ratio ng public hospitals, di ba dapat to dami ng public hospital para bumaba naman ang presyo at may alternatibo? Bakit tumadaming hemodialysis centers na private? Sapagkat hindi binibigay ng DOH ang equipment. Pero kung may sapat na lugar po, in fact marami naman lugar, and the equipment can be provided by DOH, tulungan nila yung mga lugar na to, then we would have less of the private hospitals, Madam Chair. So Yusek David, please, before we approve your budget, kasi alam niyo ho, pwedeng tayong magtiisan, pero taon-taon na lang po to. Hindi naman ho dapat siguro nakita natin yung crisis problema, ipayagan natin.
Mr. Chair, may I be clarified, Congressman?
Yes,
May I be clarified
Speaker.
lamang doon sa mga sinabi ni Congressman Defensor about doon sa sinasabi niya na tigo 100,000 sa bawat lugar. Does it goes to all areas in the whole country?
Well, Madam Chair, I will give you an example. In Baguio, for example, 3 health center po to. Asin Health Center, 300,000. Atab Health Center, 300,000. Luwakan, Lukban, Iran.
Madam Chair, ito bang 20 billion ay kumbaga in-scatter nila sa buong Pilipinas and kino-consider nila na 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. Yun ang pinakamalaki.
To be fair to them, Madam Chair, may mga hospital silang nilist yung under DOH facility. So nilagyan na po naman nila ng pondo. Tama rin po naman. For example po, in Region 4A.
But yung majority po ng 20 billion na binabanggit ba ninyo?
Doon na.
Doon na papunta sa maliliit. Madam Chair, siguro we have to look into this, Dahil nga po kung i-scattered mo yung 20 billion, tapos di-distribute mo siya, majority ng 20 billion ay 100,000, 200,000. Ano po ba mararating nun? Considering na, like for example, yung kay Congressman Ted Aresco, wala silang hospital. Bakit hindi natin i-priority? Nalagyan muna natin sila ng primary care para na sa gano'n naman, meron tatakbuhan yung mga tao. Siguro...
And then in the main island, magkaroon ng hospital talaga.
Yeah, Madam Chair, i-cluster natin na kung saan i-identify muna natin yung mga needed areas na mag-construct tayo ng mga ospital na kailangan ng ating mga taong bayan. Otherwise, this can be construed as prioritizing yung mga bagay na na mga malalakas sa DOH na kung saan sila muna ang binibigyan ng mga malalaking pondo.
Madam Chair,
sa mga ospital.
Para lang ho i-klaro yung mga definition, ang level 1 hospital, para kapag na-ICU ka, pwede ka, yun ang capacity nila. Tama po ba yun, Yusek David?
Yusek David?
Yes, Madam Chair. Yung level 1 hospital po natin is for emergency care.
Yes.
Tapos yung level 2 po natin, meron na ho tayong 4 departments yan, OB, Medicine, Surgery, Pedia.
At may ICU na rin sila for Pedia at...
Meron din po. Pero
Opo.
ang pinaka-sophisticated po natin is yung ating level 3 na departmentalized na po talaga yung kanilang mga specialty.
I agree with you, Madam Chair. Pero yung level 2 na lang po, kasi dito yung may mga pagka-critical yung bata, critical yung nanay na nanganak, meron silang capacity. Eto, Madam Chair, magugulat ka. NCR, 27 private, 7 government. Region 2, 18 ang private, 5 government. Region 2, 11 ang government, 0 ang private. Region 1, Region 1, 18, 5 ang government. Region 3, sa inyo po to, 40 ang private, 1 ang government. Region 4A, 73 ang private, 6 ang government. Region 4B, 4 ang private, wala ang government.
Yusek David, can you provide us the list ng mga binabanggit ni Congressman Defensor? Yung 40 yung private, isa lang ang government. Ano yung mga ospital na yan?
And Madam Chair, can we have an answer dun sa rational mong distribution and allocation ng funds na which Congressman Defensor pointed out kasi wala pang sagot eh. So that we would understand kung bakit ganun yung ginagawang distribution.
Kasi hindi lang naman kay Kong Ted may problema. Pati po sa akin marami akong barangay health unit na wala pong gamit. Kaya ginagawa na rin talagang bodega. Walang kama, wala lahat, walang weighing scale. Wala, kasi sayang po yung naging pondo ng building para gawin lamang bodega ng barangay. Ano po?
Madam Chair.
Please answer po doon sa previous question ni Kong Defensor.
So, ang priority po natin sa ating universal healthcare is yung primary care po. So, yung primary care po natin is yung barangay health station and rural health unit. This is because they provide more cost-effective care, meaning po you get it at the preventive stage or the early stage. So, the cost of treating them or attending to them is cheaper po than when you allow it to become worse and that they need to go to the hospital. So, ang goal po natin is about 30 minutes access to a barangay health station and about an hour access to an RHU. So ito po yung ating priority.
Yes, Madam Chair. Pero kung mag-allocate kayo ng 100,000, that's for what? Parang walang sa-isa yung 100,000. We're wasting funds.
Ito po sa completing na lang po siguro ng equipment nila. So yung priority po naman natin sa so that we see to it that they're functional. Una po is equipping yung 100% na completed infrastructure na.
Yusek, ano pong equipment ang mabibili ng 100,000? Meron bang kayong idea?
Opo, sa primary care, mura lang po yung mga yan, yung mga stethoscope, ECG, Spigmo, mga ganun na lang.
Ang ECG naman po, hindi pwedeng ilagay sa barangay health Kasi
yeah,
wala
sa
namang
rural health
marunong
unit po yan.
mag-ECG doon.
Rural health unit po yan.
So, mostly thermometer lang yan, pang BP, ang mabibili po.
So, Madam
Weighing
Chair,
scale.
meron naman hong standard na equipment for those. So,
Hindi po ba mas mainam kung kayo ang magpo-provide lahat ng gamit, equipments ng mga barangay health center o barangay health unit?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Para alam nyo po kung ano talaga ang gamit ng isang barangay health unit na kakailanganin ng barangay.
Yes, Madam Chair. Meron ho kaming standards, the equipment for each barangay health station and rural health unit. And we've seen po kasi na more efficient kung yung aming regional health office ang mag-procure. And sometimes even ho yung local government unit. Kasi, yes po. So the other priority po is, yun nga po, equipping muna. The second is completing yung infrastructure. Kunwari, 90%, 80%, 70% na lang yung kailangan i-complete. So, kaya po nag-iiba-iba yung amounts. But that said po, Madam Chair, it's the proposal each year of the local government unit and the regions po that reaches the central office po that gets consolidated. Siguro po, nangyayari yung naging 100,000 na lang dahil when the budget ceiling po for HFEP is cut, we have to cut across the ceiling lalo na po kung mabilisan.
Madam Chair.
So baka ganun po.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Kong Defensor.
Yun sa sitwasyon na perpekto yung ospital mo, maniniwala na ako that the next stage, palakasin mo na yung, in fact, hindi na lang yung barangay health station muna At saka yung, kung hindi yung district hospitals. Ang ginawa nila, sinalubong nila yung ilalim. Pero hindi pa malakas yung level 1 and level 2 hospitals natin. So ang ibig sabihin po, pag nagkasakit ka, hindi kaya nung isang barangay, which is more likely the case, no? Maraming kasong ganyan, pupunta ka na sa private hospital. Pag dito po sa Kongreso ngayon, nagka-problema tayo, wala tayong tatakbon ditong ospital na malapit. tatakbo po tayo dito sa mga private hospitals na malapit lang dito. Now, why is it that way, Madam Chair, with the budget na meron tayo? Again, ang thesis ko, Madam Chair, yung ginagawa natin budget sa DOH at yung nagiging formulation sa PhilHealth is really to benefit the private hospitals. Imbis na palakasin ang public health system. Kasi, kung meron na siyang ongoing na hospital at meron siyang PhilHealth na nagbabayad sa hospital, ang pondo umiikot na lang sa kanila at nasusustain nila. Kunyari po, Madam Chair, meron po kayong mga hospital sa inyong lugar sa probinsya, suportado ng provincial government. Kung yan naman ay nakakuha ng PhilHealth ng funding in terms of payment, siguro may konti lang bayad, pero umiikot na ang pondo within that hospital. And Madam Chair, for the 5th time, inulit ko na po sa HFEP ano po yung basis. I don't know if kung si Congressman Sontay satisfied doon sa explanation. Ako ho, Quezon City pa lang, doon sa nakita kong binigyan yung barangay, hindi ho totoo nangyayari yun. Pumunta ka doon sa barangay na yun, hindi ka magagamot doon. At hindi ho totoo na pwedeng gawin yung sinasabi nilang private care facility. Mabuti na nga, nag-target na lang sila ng 100, 1,000, focus doon yung pondo, pagandahin talaga. Kaysa yung ganitong tinapon lang nila, tig 100,000, tig 500. So Madam Chair, without a plausible explanation, walang malinaw na papapaliwanag dito sa pondong to, Madam Chair, I move to suspend the budget, the approval of the budget of the Department of Health.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Vice Chair Alvarado.
Madam Chair, alam niyo po, sa mga kasagutan po ng DOH, sa mga tinanong ni Chairman Mike Defensor ng Public Accounts, ay nangangamoy po ito ng korupsyon, Madam Chair. At sinusuportahan po ng representanteng ito yung motion po ni Congressman Defensor na isuspindi muna itong hearing na ito hanggat hindi po natin naayos yung usapin po ng mga HPEP, Madam Chair, dahil bilyong-bilyong piso po yung ating pinag-uusapan dito.
Mr. Chair, bago po tayo approve sa motion ni Congressman Defensor. May I be clarified lamang kay Yusek David, ano? Sinasabi niyo po kanina kasi, ito po ay mga request ng mga LGU. At pag dumarating po yung request ng LGU sa Department of Health, sino po ang nagdidesisyon para pagbibigyan ang mga LGU na ito?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kong Fernandez, these proposals, meron tayong annual planning process. So the plans po come from
Tanong ko po, sino po ang nagdidesisyon na itong mga to ang pagbibigyan ng allotment na nanggaling po sa PhilHealth, no? Yung sa HPEP, no?
HFEP.
Sa HPEP, okay. Sino po ang nagdidesisyon na ito po ang pagbibigyan ng allotment?
Ang una po na sasala dyan po is yung aming regional offices, ang Centers for Health Development.
Sino pong head nun?
Regional directors po.
So mga regional directors ang nagdidesisyon, but it is have a approval galing po sa national.
Then they submit po to the national office. Opo. Then we consolidate po all the proposals.
Okay, in that case, Mr. Chairman, I agree with the motion of Congressman Defensor, and this is duly seconded. And,
Mr. Chair. There's a motion to suspend the budget briefing of DOH and duly seconded by Congressman Haresco.
Thank you,
Duly
Mr. Chair.
noted, there's no